everybody, and welcome back to Weekly Gaming on Xbox with your host, Trevor, aka Mini Penguin on the internet, and my best friend,
Bryce, better known as B2Gaming, all across the interwebs.
We have quite an epic show for you this week. It's episode 5. What a crazy one. And before we start, I would like to apologize for this one being late as well. We have been very behind. Our schedules have definitely been a little messed up. We've got a lot going on lately, so we're just going to do apologies now because this is going to be up late as well. So we're working on getting back on schedule. We have some stuff to go through and figure out. So
I'm working on it. I'm a business major.
We're both busy, so we'll have to figure out stuff. In terms of that, this week on the Weekly Gaming on Xbox, we have Xbox comes under fire for the last minute gold price hike announced on Friday when no one would see it. So this is kind of interesting in terms. This one's kind of interesting. What was it? Xbox had increased their price of gold and then did like a quick change around within like an hour or so to like redo their price system. Am I correct on this?
Yeah, it was pretty wicked. And I saw like obviously lots of other people saw it like unofficial announcements, but I was just chill on Twitter and I saw them tweet out something about gold and I was like, oh, maybe they're making it cheaper. And then this all happened like in front of my eyes.
I didn't see anything, so I can't say anything. I didn't even know about this, so
yeah.
That's interesting. I was not expecting that, to be honest.
It was a pretty substantial amount too. It was like, I think right now you can get gold for a year for $60 if you get like a good deal on it. But they made it so like 6 months is $60. So it was pretty
Ooh, I don't like that.
I know, it was pretty scary.
But, you know,
but
I guess that's what happens on it.
Yeah, and of course we'll dig into it more, but...
Yeah. Xbox is responding to Backlash. I guess we kind of just talked about that. Sort of?
Yeah.
They were responding to Backlash with the gold price hikes and everything like that, so... There's that one. We just kind of talked about that, so we don't have to worry about it too much. Basically, they're just going into kind of doing... They're planning, I think... Are they planning on it, or are they actually going to copy what PlayStation does with their live services?
Yeah, I just realized I should add the official story to the thing, so I'm just doing that right now. But yeah, they literally within that hour, they went back to the same article that they released about the price hike. And they literally, you know how you can put like a line through text?
They just crossed it out.
Yeah, they did the line through text stuff because they didn't want to lie, so they were just honest and just put a line through everything. And they just put new text in front of it that explained how the new system's going to work.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Because they wanted to be transparent, but also they needed to like make sure that people didn't think that it was still in effect.
That's so funny.
Yeah, it was... Oh, here it is. It was 1 month for $11, 3 months for $30, 6 months for $60.
So then what would 12 months be 120 then? Because that would... Oh.
Yeah, I think it would be out near there. It would be either 100 or... Yeah, it's 100... Yeah, it would be 120, yeah.
I don't like that. That's awful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was. Wow, they actually did literally just double the price pretty much. I don't know if they did that or not, but they literally did.
That's so dumb. Anyway. I'm so glad they didn't do that.
I know. Back on subject while I had this story.
Yeah. Hitman 3 comes out to the door now announcing ray tracing features coming to the new consoles and already offering an amazing visual experience.
Oh yeah, I saw Hitman 3's blowing up and it's really exciting.
I don't think I've ever seen any of the Hitman games. I don't think I've ever really heard of them, to be real honest.
Oh, that's so sad. They're so good.
It does kind of look interesting though, like kind of going through and seeing, like, because it's popped up and I've looked a bit, and it does look pretty good. Like some of the graphics and everything look pretty cool. So
yeah, because they've always been known for being pretty like graphically kind. But we'll dig into it in the article more. But they really have stepped it up, because the other thing that they do is they always include the maps from older Hitman games and the newer ones. So this is the last one in the trilogy, and so you get to visit the entire Hitman series in this one, and they remastered every map, and it is just like absolutely amazing.
Huh. Yeah, looking at this, I feel like I've actually seen I might have seen gameplay of this. I just don't. Probably. It's been a while that I don't remember it, but it does look kind of familiar.
Oh yeah.
So that'll be interesting. I know it does. I think I saw the trailer on Xbox. I'm not sure. It did look pretty good though.
Yeah. Yeah, I was about to say it always like comes and goes. The old Hitmans usually were like hyped up for a little bit, and then they would fizzle out, and then there would just be like their loyal player base kind of left. And it seems like this time they are pulling in a lot more like normal people instead of just loyal player base and hype people. So that's exciting.
That'll be interesting. I'm sure I'll probably check it out. We'll see what happens though.
Oh yeah.
Call of Duty Warzone still fighting off huge problems with hackers and mostly being silent about the issue. Let's be real, Call of Duty always has hackers. Like, I don't know why people think it's fun. Like,
oh yeah.
Warzone is only a year old and it's having hacker issues. Like, are you, like, the game was having hacker issues like a month into everyone buying the game. Like,
I think the big thing now is just that, like, now there's like a competitive one where you can win money and stuff, and so now it's becoming like more of a problem because obviously those people are cheating people out of winning money.
Which is stupid because yeah, and it's like the one thing that really is annoying is, I don't remember which COD it was. I think it might have been Modern Warfare, the last one that just came out last year. That they took away the replay, so you couldn't go back and replay games. I think that's the one that they took it out of. And since they've done that, it's a lot harder to catch cheaters unless if it's recorded and visually tracked that way, which is annoying because it's like a lot of YouTubers I watch, they have caught people cheating because, you know, it's either final kill or something like that, and they catch them. But it's like they don't have the replay system anymore, so it's like you can't go back and be like, oh yeah, that person cheated. And why would you take that out of the game? Like, yeah, especially because it's like when you play hardcore, like there is no, like, you don't get to see how you died.
Yeah.
Unless if it was like the final kill or something.
Oh, yeah.
Which is stupid, because it's like, you're playing hardcore, so you get shot out of nowhere, no one's near you, there's no way anyone could have seen you, and you just get shot through, like, maybe a wall that's impossible to shoot through. Or something like that, and it's like, well, people are obviously going to cheat, and, like, you can tell by how some people cheat, like, their movement and everything.
Oh, yeah.
And they just... Call of Duty needs to fix that and upgrade their structure, and get that stuff done.
Yeah, and I think the funniest thing is, like, today I was watching one of like Optimus's videos because I like to watch him just because he's very different from me, so I find him interesting. And he was talking about this hacking problem because this new story just came out a few days ago about how it's becoming like a really, really big problem. And he was showing a video of this one girl on Twitch, and she later got her account banned because cheating on multiplayer games on Twitch is illegal. Like, you can get banned from the platform for it. And so she's obviously an aspiring Twitch streamer, so it's really sad. But, like, she opened the modding menu on stream, clicked an option to make people transparent so you could see them through the map and shoot them through the map, And then later, people started to call her out in chat, and she goes, "Guys, there's this really weird bug where I'm just like able to see people through walls. Like, it's so weird." And then she gets her phone and she's like, "Oh my god, my friend Tiffany was over earlier today. I bet you $10 she installed this on my computer." And I was like, "We saw you click the mod menu. We're not dumb. Like, there's footage of it now because streams are saved." Like,
I hate that. Yeah, like streams are backed up for I think you have a max of like 3 weeks before they get deleted, depending on the stream or like the length of it or something. But like streams get saved for quite a while, like 3 weeks to a month, I think.
And of course, people can always clip it as long as they don't have channel restrictions. So I'm sure that's why the video exists, is because somebody saw her do it and was like, "She's probably gonna lie about it. We should clip it."
Yeah, like regardless, and even if it's like you can't clip it directly from the channel, like there's other ways to clip stuff. Like a lot of phones have screen recording. There's softwares that you can download to your computer to do it. Like, you can do it from your console if you wanted to, because they have the built-in screen recording. Like, it is not, you're not getting away with it. Yeah. So
it was just so funny. And then she was like going on Twitter, and she was so upset about being disbanded because she was almost at a Twitch membership, so she could have like made money. And it's like, you probably should have thought about that before you cheated in a game and like let it happen on stream and like ruin the community.
See, if I was gonna take an online multiplayer game and like use like mods and cheats with it, I would get people and do it in like a private lobby, or like I wouldn't even like do like actual cheats like shooting people through walls or turning on that stuff. Like, I would be one of those people where it's like I either give people the mod options to just screw around, or like I spawn stuff in to mess around with in game, so it makes it fun. Like, I wouldn't cheat for winning. Like, that's pathetic and lame. Like,
it just makes everything worse for everybody.
Like, I've played COD games where people give you like your own little menu, and you can do and spawn in whatever gun you want. Mm-hmm. Like, I've had it where I've played Black and Black Ops 2. People, when it kind of died out and it was more cheaters that were playing, I've been given a mod menu, or people have given me the ray gun in multiplayer just to like, and I can actually use it too, which is funny because it's like, this is a zombies exclusive weapon. There is no way I should have this. So it was kind of funny.
Oh yeah, and that's the thing. And like the other thing is like, there's lots of games like Fallout and Skyrim that have built-in modding both on the PC and even on console. And so it's like, if you want to have fun with mods, Call of Duty is just not the game for it. There's lots of games that are literally designed to be modded, kind of. So why not just go over to those and have fun?
That's just the thing, though. COD is one of the most fun games for mods. And it's like, it's just the way it's laid out versus those games. That's the only issue.
I don't know. There's a lot of really funny, interesting mods on Fallout 4. Like, Fallout 4 was rated, I forget what the heck the list was, but it was like top moddable games. Because obviously Bethesda's engine is one of the both most glitchiest engines in the world, but also most moddable engines in the world.
I think it's because it's glitchiest.
Well, it's both. It's so glitchy because it's so flexible. And so, like, one of the biggest things is, like, somebody recreated the entire Star Wars movie in it because they just modded in every single asset from the Star Wars movies, and so they created, like, the first movie in Fallout.
Oh, wow. That would have been awesome.
Oh, yeah, and there's tons of stuff like that. Like, Fallout 4 has become, like, the mod of gods. Like, Fallout 3 just got an entire modding expansion with over 40 hours of gameplay from a small modding team, just because that's how flexible it is.
That's awesome. I love that.
I just want to see like what the big mods for this week are. Like Fallout UI, Journal, no pastas. There's like the Fallout unofficial patch, which actually fixes the game with a mod, which is kind of funny, but it fixes all the glitches in the game. So it's actually nice. And that's the other thing, is like people fix the game all the time, so that's why Bethesda doesn't release many hot fixes, is because the community fixes it for them. So there's so many.
They love the game, that's why.
Yeah. I'll have to send you the Nexus sometime and you can look at it, because you can get lots of them on Xbox because they have the Nexus built into the game.
Oh, Teddy.
Nah.
That'll be interesting.
Oh yeah, it's so awesome. I love Fallout.
Let's see. You
not trashy.
Yeah. YouTube finally caving into enabling HDR on the new Xbox series of consoles. I don't know what that means.
I saw this, like, they have HDR and 4K, which high dynamic range is just whenever a TV can actually make blacks look like darkness, so you stare at it and you can't see anything, and it makes everything a lot more defined, and it's a really big deal with the new generation of consoles. And so YouTube just finally decided to cave in and let HDR work on consoles, because it worked on everything else, like on Apple TV, Fire TV sticks, obviously the online web browser and everything. But for the longest time, like, I think the last Xbox, like the Xbox One X, supported HDR, but they never added it because they just didn't see the reason. And so they finally gave in and enabled it for Xbox overall.
Oh, interesting.
Which is really nice for people with bougie movie setups and stuff.
Yeah, that's nice.
Oh yeah, I'm super excited.
And then finally, Xbox backtracks on some of the helpful battery technology they had integrated into their plug-and-play kit. I feel like you can definitely talk about this one more. I feel like...
Yeah, I was so sad about it. I saw this, and this is why I added it to, like, the end of our news stories. There's, like, so they have... Oh, shoot, I have to add this to our news stories, too. So they have a plug-and-play kit thing that they have set up where you can... oh, no, I have it on here. Where you were able to plug in the cord that they bundled in the package, and it had a little LED on it that told you whenever your controller was fully charged, so you wouldn't overcharge it, and you would, like you know, quote unquote save the earth, because you're like not overcharging and not using excessive battery and whatever. And it's also better for battery health, because obviously the more you overcharge a battery, the shorter its life becomes. And for some reason they released a new version of the plug and play kit, because the new controllers have USB-C instead of USB-B. So they had to release a new version of the kit with the correct cord. And that new cord is just like a plain black cord. It doesn't have the little LED anymore. And it was so sad, because that LED was like so helpful and so neat. And people are mad about it, because first, if you leave your controller on the charger all night, then its battery will slowly degrade, and then your batteries will, over time, not really immediately, but give it like 3 years, and your batteries will almost be at 50% of their original capacity. So instead of getting 6 hours out of your controller batteries, you'll get 2 or 3. And then same with like just knowing whenever it's ready. Like if you need it to charge up quick, then you used to be able to just kind of wait it out and wait for the light to tell you that it's fully charged. But now you just kind of have to like plug it in and just pray that you pull it off at the right time. So it just really sucks, because it was such a convenient little thing that nobody thanked them for. But now, because nobody thanked them for it, they probably removed it because it was like slightly expensive or something. It probably cost them like an extra 10 cents or something. And now that feature that like was really useful and really nice is gone. And it's like, wow, really? So I saw the SVJ group, which is like a little gaming news story article place. I should say a gaming news site. They talked about it and outraged about it, and so I hope Microsoft sees that and maybe thinks about bringing it back. Because it was so fun. It was so nice. I miss it. Because now I just plug my controller in, and like sometimes it's at like 90%, and I'm like, dang it, I pulled it off early, or sometimes it's at 100%, and I'm like, I wonder how long it's been at 100% for. I might have overcharged it.
Yeah, that's why I kind of like just having, like, instead of plugging into the console, I just have the I like having the rechargeables where I just set it on a thing and it lets me know with that light change. I like having those. Those are smarter.
Yeah, and see, that's the same vibe. It's like there was just a little light on the cord to just tell you when it's fully charged, and that was so nice and convenient.
Well, mine's a whole stand.
Well, I know, but it's just it's the same vibe. Yeah.
Yeah, no. I get you.
Yeah, it's the same vibe, and now we don't have that, so now we just have to plug it in and just pray. Like, it kind of sucks. Because isn't that light nice so that you know when it's fully charged?
Yeah, because it goes from, like, my last one went from being red to green, and now my new one, goes from orange to white, so...
Yeah, that one was always red to white. So, like, red was...
I don't remember.
Well, the new ones, like the plug-and-play kit. Yeah, it always goes red to white, and it was so nice. It was so convenient. But yeah, I need an RIP in chat for the LED. It was such a sad loss. So, Trevor, what games have you been playing this week?
So I've been playing... Well, I haven't touched No Man's Sky in the last week. Well, maybe I have. I don't remember. I probably have, like, once. Yeah, I think once.
Yeah, just, like, hopped on, checked it out.
Well, I hopped on for a while, but I never really played I haven't played a whole lot of it. I've been playing some Rocket League a bit, some Overwatch.
Your classics.
Yeah, some of the classics. I've been playing a lot more Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. I am really enjoying that game.
Oh, okay.
It's actually really fun. And just, like, the storyline of it is quite amazing. I'm really loving it.
Oh,
so,
I'm loving it.
Shut up. Don't make fun of me. Now I want McDonald's because of that.
Oh my gosh.
You mean boy.
McChicken.
And I can speak for both of us when we say we have been playing some Wasteland 3.
Yeah,
you dragged me into the game. You dragged me into the game, and I started playing it with you.
It was pretty fun, honestly, even though it's a little frustrating sometimes.
I still don't like the whole style of it. The whole RPG style. That's not my style of game. Like, it's a cool game, but the RPG style is just not me.
I don't think it's RPG, I think it's top-down for you. Because you seem to like player choice because you enjoy Fallout, right?
Yeah,
because Fallout's an RPG.
Wait, it is? It's an RPG?
Yeah, because RPG is a role-playing game.
Yeah, I think I have those backwards then.
Yeah.
I have something
top-down is... top-down is like the point-and-click and turn-based.
Yeah, the turn-based thing is what I don't like. That's what I meant. Okay.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
That's the style of game I don't like. I guess RPG I really enjoy because, like, I guess Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order is all it's like because I play as Cal, the young Jedi, which I'm kind of going through his story and everything like that, and so
okay,
I had that wrong, so.
Yeah, and that's like, there's always, it's all kind of loosey sometimes, because some people only consider RPGs like if you make multiple choices and there's multiple endings, but some people consider RPGs just any game that you play as a character that has like an outlined story and not as like something like a multiplayer game or something like that. And so that's also
an RPG game as like kind of like what Wasteland is, where it's like you go through, but it's like turn-based, or it's more of the, like, I guess kind of like a crappier version of a board game.
Yeah, and that's the thing. That's what, like, turn-based is just that, because the RPG part of the game is, like, whenever we make choices and we change the world in that way. The actual, like, gameplay of the game, that's just turn-based that's just a turn-based strategy game.
Yeah.
So there's so many multiple facets to it. Like, technically Call of Duty is like a first-person shooter, and then it also has an RPG story in it because you play as a character in the story mode. And so
which is kind of interesting because the newest one actually has quite an interesting story because there's multiple different options you can choose from. Like, there's a lot of different options you can choose from and a lot of different ways you can play the story. So
yeah, did you ever finish that?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, okay. Did you like it overall?
Yeah, I did, actually. I want to go back because there's a lot of, like, either different paths I can take or, like, a lot of, like, hidden secrets that I've missed.
Yeah.
So that's something I want to go back and try and figure out and do. Plus, it's like I want to try and beat it on a harder mode as well. I think that'd be interesting.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah, I do like that. For me, I've played a lot of No Man's Sky. I just finished the story the other night by like going at it 100% for pretty much the entire day. And honestly, the story, I don't know how I feel about it, because the story has a weird thing and then it has an interesting ending. And overall, it left me feeling kind of sad in a way and kind of like disappointed a little bit. But it also
here's an
really
idea.
made
Next
me
time,
think.
don't do the entire story without me.
Well, because I did find out that the story you kind of have to do it independently. I did learn, because there's some parts of the story where you have to like travel to different places where you can only do it as a solo player. And so like at one point or another, we would have had to split up anyway. So I decided to kind of like tap it off so that then I could support you through your story. But I won't spoil it for you. Just know that it is an emotional ride.
Fight you.
It's an emotional ride. It's also a lot of work. You gotta have a lot of commitment for a while. Because that baby runs you through some fetch quests. And the characters are so interesting. You're gonna love the characters that you meet over time. It starts out okay.
Everything.
I'm not. These are general concepts. I could say this about any game and everybody would be like, oh my gosh, I know. And I could never play the game before.
Like, I could say that about Call of Duty's story, or like the story of Star Wars,
don't you
or
love
anything.
Don't you love how in the Call of Duty story you had so many choices and you met so many interesting people? And the ending was just so gripping.
See, for me, explaining it to you, you're not one where you would necessarily play that. So I feel like, to me, for explaining it to you wouldn't really matter too much, because you wouldn't really, like, I don't think you're gonna ever play it.
I probably will now, because I love RPGs. That's what I hated about the original COD stories, they were linear, and so they only had one ending. And so I didn't like that, because I like having player choice. So now that I know that it's more of a non-linear story and there's possibly multiple endings, that's much more enticing to me.
I know towards the end of the story you have an option to save one of two people, and then
there you go.
You get put into, like, I guess it's like a coma kind of thing. Well, it's not necessarily a coma, because like they give you like this thing, like this drug or whatever, because they're trying to like re-jog your memory in on this stuff, and it's like if you completely avoid going and trying to find it enough times, like, not only do you get an achievement, but like it just gets weirder and weirder and weirder the more you avoid it. And so it's like, and then you get a choice between, like, you can either tell the truth on where the I don't remember what the guy's name is, but you get a choice. Perseus, that was his name. You get a choice between telling the truth on where he is, or like where his main base is, or you can lie. And so you get an option on how your story goes and how it like ends. And so it makes it very interesting, because there's a lot of different choices. Like, it's mainly the same, where it's like you have a set like go through, but along the way you get to make different options on like who you talk to, like what you ask, like all sorts of different things, which add or take away more to your story and what you are able to do.
Oh yeah. And that's what I like. And I do feel bad, because some people don't like it, because then for the following game, if there's ever a continuation, the developer has to choose like a definitive story. And so if your story isn't the definitive story, some people feel bad, because they're like, oh, well, my story doesn't matter. But I feel like it's just more fun, because ultimately you do have to choose an ultimate story, but you can always know that in an alternate universe, your story was the real one. So that's kind of fun too. But yeah, so I've just been playing No Man's Sky. No Man's Sky has some choice at the end of the story too, which is fun. And then I've been playing some Call of Duty Cold War. They finally fixed the crashing glitch mostly. It still happens occasionally, but it's been much more repaired. So it happens way less frequently, which is much better.
That's good. We'll have to cop on and play, because I have some ideas on stuff we should do there. So we'll have to hop on and play
100%. And then finally, of course, Wasteland 3, like you said, just been having fun with that. We'll have to do another round of that sometime this week, which will be fun. But that's been all really for games. How about you? Is that all for games really this week?
I think so. Honestly, I can't think of any other games I've really played.
I know, I've been pretty undiverse this week.
Yeah, I've had a really busy week and like weekend, so like I haven't really been able to do much and hop on for a whole lot.
Yeah.
So
and also no Minecraft this week from either of us.
Minecraft is. I haven't been too much on to Minecraft lately. It's funny because I saw a TikTok the other day where it's like, and it's like, Minecraft is one of those games where it's like you hard play it for like 2-3 weeks, and then you just kind of grow away from it for like 6 months, and then it's like you see something, and then you get dragged back in for another 2-3 weeks of like hardcore grinding, and then you just like, it's like an on and off kind of game where it's like you're off of it for so long, and then you hard grind it out of nowhere for just weeks, and it's like, that kind of makes sense, but at the same time, it's like I kind of quit playing for a while, and then I started again back in like March. I started really playing again, and then the Nether update came out, and then I kept playing, and then like the last few months, I definitely haven't been playing as much. I kind of grow away from it.
But you always end up back at it. That's just kind of how it is.
Oh yeah, Minecraft and Call of Duty are my weakness. Dude, Minecraft and Call of Duty are my weakness games, honestly.
Oh yeah, 100%. I agree.
If we ever grow big enough where like we're getting recognized at like gaming events or whatever, if anyone ever brings me anything like Minecraft or Call of Duty related that's either funny or cute or just anything like that, I am like, there's 100% chance I cannot turn it down because of like,
oh my gosh,
those games are like my kryptonite, and it's tough. Like I can't, like those games are they're too much a part of me. They're too much me. Yeah. So
I get that.
So it's
well, I think that's. So it's what?
That's just it, pretty much.
Oh yeah. So I think that's all for the intro, huh?
Yeah, I think I kind of dragged it along a bit.
Should we lead them to the next section with fun interval music for $2?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. See you guys on the other side.
Whoa!
Welcome back, everybody. We are back from our break. I hope you guys enjoyed that little music pause. So next in our agenda of podcasts, we have channel updates. Bryce, do you want to lead us off on what's been going on with you?
Yeah, I can start the jazz session. You know how I like playing instruments. So this week for B2Gaming, we just have like some fun stuff. We have a few Twitch streams have gone on now, and we've gotten a handful of followers off of those, which has been really fun. With the Discord that we host, like we host the show on there, and we host Minecraft World Expansion. We have general sections of it, obviously, just for the fans, and so that Discord has been slowly getting on its feet. Just getting some random people both from the internet and from both of our channels and all kinds of stuff on there, which has been nice. And so hopefully we'll continue to see that grow. If you guys want to check that out, that's obviously in the description as well. I always keep that down there. And then with other stuff going on, we have some... me personally, I've been endeavoring into some job opportunities and also been looking for some growth within the Twitch and YouTube space, just checking up on what's happening and doing all kinds of stuff like that, which is super fun. So I've been endeavoring into that just to help fuel our pages and our podcast and the YouTube channels and everything a little bit more. And I just started a new No Man's Sky series that I think I'll be running on a separate little treadmill that I just called No Man's Sky Capitalism, which is just where I kind of honestly just go into the game and just try to be as lucrative as possible and just make like as much money as possible to be like crazy rich in the game. That's kind of just the premise of it, which sounds kind of dumb and flat whenever you're looking at it from a little bit of an outside perspective, but you have to go watch the stream just to really understand, because it's really fun. It can be very creative, and like I'm open to having guests and stuff, so I'm sure Trevor will appear on there. I think I had Riley on for like an hour at one point. And so it is just a very fun like side series, and that's on the character that me and you started independently during that one stream. And so obviously another thing is I do want to maybe restart No Man's Sky and do kind of like a kind of honestly low-key kind of like an SMP almost tethered series where me and you and maybe we grab our friends and we like work on colonizing the universe one planet or one solar system at a time, which would be really fun. And I think that would just be interesting because like I said, we learned that we can have multiple bases on one planet. And so I think it would just be fun to have people kind of both have people just run across those, because obviously usually how the servers work is bases appear on most servers as long as you're located on the same server. So a lot of like random Xbox people would probably end up coming across our huge terraformed planets, which I think would be interesting. But also, as long as we all save near the same location, I believe that it will always put you back into the same server area. So every time that any of us log in independently just to build up stuff or just to work on some stuff before the next stream or the next episode, we'll all just kind of like see all of our huge builds and anything that each one of us has done independently, which is really cool. And then also, as we all progress in the story in those playthroughs, we'll have like 6 or 7 freighters above whatever planet we're currently working on. We'll probably all have our own exo vehicles inside of the thing, which is really cool. And just lots of stuff like that. I think it would be really interesting just to see what happens, because I think that we'll probably tether less to doing the story with every single person in the stream. But I'm sure me and you will kind of progress through the story simultaneously.
More than likely.
But anybody else in the stream, obviously, we won't force them to if they don't want to, or if they just don't have enough time to be on our schedules or whatever. But the main point I think that I want to center the series around is just honestly us getting our friends and maybe even viewers at one point or another, and just colonize some of these planets really nicely, because I just think that it is a fun little endeavor on the side. And I also think it is just an interesting series because I haven't seen any like No Man's Sky quote-unquote SMPs or anything like that, and I haven't really seen that style. Most people go in either solo or just as a duo, and so I think it would be interesting to see like a whole planet cultivated by people, because they also now have 32 player multiplayer, so you can have 32 people in one congruent session. And so that's another thing, is that's pretty much our roof, and I honestly don't think we'll hit that.
We'll probably lag the server if we manage to get 32 people in.
Yeah, and that's the other thing. Obviously, we don't know like the technical limitations, but like since they have that possibility, I'm thinking that we're never going to hit that roof, and so I kind of am encouraged to see how close we can get.
Yeah, that would be actually really cool. I was actually just thinking of like as you were talking, I was just thinking of a random idea. What if we got a big group of us and we set up like on one one area where we just have a massive base, and we dig down as far as possible, and from there we just kind of expand out and just make like on that very bottom layer just a big crater with our base inside of it. So it's like when an asteroid or something hits a planet and just leaves that giant crater. Something like that, and then just in the middle of it's like our base. I think that would be kind of cool to do.
Oh yeah, and we can like, that's the thing, is kind of the our imagination is the limit, because there is seemingly, I think that it's technically not infinite star systems, but like during some of the story mission, you have to explore very certain parts of the solar system, and through doing those, obviously I don't want to spoil anything for you, but during those you really get to see that even though, speaking from a technical perspective, it isn't infinite, speaking from a practical perspective, I can guarantee you that we will never cultivate every single solar system. And so our imagination is the theoretical limit.
I got you. That'd be really cool, yeah.
So I think that's an awesome idea. I definitely think that would be fun for us.
It'd be a very tedious project because of how long it would take, but I think in the end it would be really worth it.
Oh yeah, and they've even, like, in this last update, I just learned, I like looked into every update that they've had just to see like their trajectory, and it seems like they're pretty courteous to building, because in the last update they added tons of new planets with new species and new possibilities and edited world terrain and other stuff like that. And so it seems like whenever they do big updates like that, where they update the terrain and animals, instead of destroying old builds or resetting the whole universe, they kind of just go in and add more planets to just cultivate it more. And so theoretically, or at least the precedent that they've already set, we will never have to worry about our progress getting reversed.
That would be very handy, yeah. I would not like if my progress got taken out.
So the precedent that they've set, I think that would be like, this is a safe game for us to do something like that, which is nice.
Oh yeah, very, very much so.
But yeah, that's all I've got going on my channel. So just 2 new No Man's Sky series. I should say I'm still promising more Minecraft World expansion because it's been a little bit dry with me posting. So I think probably my videos coming up next week I'll at least have one Minecraft World expansion episode. But aside from that, I'm planning on starting 2 new No Man's Sky episodes. Still working on channel growth, and I encourage everybody who enjoys the podcast to go join our Discord as well, because you can obviously chat and ping us in there if you want to add any ideas or do anything. And yeah, that's all that I have really going on. What's going on over in the Penguins zone?
I think first off, if you're gonna say in my area, I think you gotta say in the igloo. Please keep it like.
Oh, sorry.
I don't know. It's good. I just gotta keep keep a theme. I think it would work very well. So basically, there's not a whole lot more. Kind of the same thing. Continuing Twitch streams. I have more videos coming out on YouTube. I think for the next week, maybe. I'm not quite sure exactly. I'd have to look because I have a lot of stuff on hold, ready to be put up. So I got more stuff coming out too. With that, I've got some ideas that I'd like to brainstorm between you and a bunch of other people for. At the moment, mainly Minecraft, but
yeah,
I'm sure as time goes on, we'll have more expansion that we can go to in terms of like going to like different games to do stuff like this, or just different games to play. So like Minecraft, I kind of want to start like a series. I'm still debating whether I want to do that on Bedrock or Java. I kind of want to do it on Java just because Java would just be like one of those where I could put a bunch of add-ons or something to change the game or run mods through it to kind of change the way the game is and make it a little more extra, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
Just to give it that like extra kick or something to make it a little more interesting to watch. And then kind of like do some streams. Like streams probably wouldn't be for this series. That would be a little like side kind of thing, or a little something like different. I'd like to try and get a bunch of people together, and I would like to try doing like some kind of games with a bunch of people. So we could either set it up in the on our own personal SMP, or we could do it on like a creative world, just something to like something interesting, set it up differently, because I think what I want to do is try and do some like try not to laugh kind of thing.
Yeah.
Where we try and make each other laugh, and it's like if you make someone laugh, you get a point, and this and that, and like obviously we can set up the rules how like kind of we want, and like really go for them and have a good time with it. I think that would be really something fun that we could do.
Yeah.
It's obviously a matter of can we get enough people, because if it's just us, as fun as that would be, you know, it's a little more challenging, like, to have more people, and it just make it a little more fun because you get a more wider variety of jokes.
Yeah.
And obviously, like, you don't have to come up with them. You could go on like Reddit or whatever and just like do like search up jokes as well. But like your goal is obviously to do this and that. And I think it'd be kind of interesting to expand and do more stuff like what past YouTubers have done, and you know, just make something like bring it up to date. Like, you know, there's a lot that's gone on since a lot of YouTubers have done that, so I think it'd be kind of cool to start up doing that again, and then obviously like there's more new fun jokes that you can tell or something like that, but we also have to keep it to a limit because we want YouTube to like us.
Yeah.
So
ad revenue is negotiable.
Yeah. It's not a whole lot else. I just got, like, as I already mentioned, like new games for videos and streams, possibly. Obviously, you and I are searching a lot more on Game Pass. And a lot has been going on there. So there's a lot of games that we can definitely go on and stream or play or whatever. So we have a lot of opportunities yet to come.
Oh yeah.
I'm thinking maybe sometime this weekend we could get a few streams or record some videos or do something throughout the weekend and get stuff up, because I know I want to be a little prepared because I have my next hit. So for those of you who watched last week's episode 4, which I don't even know what the time schedule is for uploading these, to be honest. We're so off track because we've had so much going on, so that's on our...
We're trying to rebound, we're working on it.
Yeah, we're working on getting back on schedule, guys, I'm sorry. So my next hint is Florida. So if you remember last week's hint and this week's hint, if you put them together, that's pretty much like a dead giveaway, but you know, I guess either next week or the week after I'll kind of reveal what's gonna happen there, I guess. So this week's hint is Florida, so we'll see if
that's so funny that I didn't know what. That's so funny that I had no idea what you were talking about last time you talked about it.
Yeah, and it's like I mentioned it how many times too.
I don't know why, like, it wasn't even that I didn't remember, it's just that I didn't line up the dots in my head for some reason. I was totally out of left field, I don't know why.
Well, I didn't really tell you I was gonna leave hints either, so that's...
Oh yeah, that sort of thing.
But yeah, everything's been going pretty well. I have a zombies video that I want to get up from Call of Duty. I have to go in and cut out some parts and everything, so I have to go through that yet, but that should be up shortly.
I loved that one kid that we played with that night on zombies.
Yeah, he was pretty... it was so fun to play with him, but like, oh my god, his mic kept cutting out for me. So half the time I had to keep asking like him to repeat himself because I couldn't understand a thing he was saying.
Yeah, COD doesn't have a very good in-game mic system.
It usually does. I think it was just an error with like his mic or something, because usually it has a fairly good one. It's not always the best, but it's fairly good. So
yeah. And then I played after you left, and I found some great, funny people. I really wish, honestly, sadly, most of them were on PlayStation, so I was like, dang it. I was like, that's sad. I was like, we need some good Xbox people on our side for COD streams and stuff.
Well, you can always add them on Call of Duty and play with them on there, too.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's the other thing.
And then this is one that I've been thinking about this for a little while. So I'm gonna obviously have to run this through you. But I was thinking, it's like obviously we don't have to do it like this exact moment, but I was thinking we could start up a joint TikTok page where we can post like funny things from our streams, or make like funny clips or whatever. Obviously for like you guys and stuff, and also to try and help promote our channels a bit. So I was then kind of thinking we could start up a TikTok page where we can go on and post random funny things or highlight clips or funny moments from videos or whatever. So.
Oh yeah, I like that.
I was thinking we could start that up.
I actually just got off TikTok. I finally deleted the app.
Oh wow.
So now I could re-download it for just professional use.
Pretty much, yeah. But like obviously you can use like comedic use there too.
Oh yeah.
I think in terms of when it comes to TikTok though, when it comes to like following people, we'd probably follow obviously like we'd probably follow my main TikTok, like my own personal one.
Yeah.
And then we'd probably follow like some of the bigger guys and kind of see what they do, or like react to some of that stuff and do stuff there too. So
I was about to say we should probably
a lot of different things. So.
Oh yeah, and I was about to say we should probably just keep in the professional aura. So obviously we'll probably follow, because I know Xbox has one, so we'll probably follow Xboxes, and then we'll follow some like bigger gamers that we agree with in the way that they do their channels and stuff.
Yeah, because I know like not all of them post stuff. Sometimes some of them post like some funny clips or whatever from streams or whatever. So we can probably do some sort of like duetting or something like that, where it's something a little interesting to mix it up, you know.
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah, I agree.
But I think it'd be kind of interesting to start up like our own community TikTok for us to kind of share our viewpoints, or kind of help promote stuff. So if like say one of us gets a sponsorship deal or something on a video, we can kind of go on TikTok, like let people know, hey, go check out this video, there's a sponsor or whatever, and kind of help promote that video there, because chances of getting something seen on TikTok is a lot higher.
Yes, yeah.
So we'll have to go with that. So.
And we still have to like finally finish configuring, because I know that we've been on and off about this because we've just been trying to work it out, and it's just hard with everything else going on. But we do have to finally eventually pull the trigger and like officially configure what our kind of like network is that we're both interconnected through, because we obviously both independently run our channels, but obviously world expansion, all the stuff that we do conjoined, and then all the people on world expansion, like they're all under a network, quote unquote, but we haven't really pinned down what we're going to call that or what that is. So we should probably tackle that eventually, especially since we'll be making that TikTok. Just kind of how like Dream SMP has Dream SMP Group, which is kind of it's one of the dumber named ones, honestly, which I was thinking about the other day. Like, it sounds very like, I don't know, it's not like it's a very literal name, because Dream collaborated it and created it, but it also puts a lot of pressure on him, because if he does anything wrong, then obviously the Dream SMP Group kind of gets a bad reflection on it. While if you have things like Team 10 with what's his face? Oh my gosh, what is it? Is that Jake Paul's crew?
I don't know.
I think so. But there's lots of things like Team 10. They have no official association with anybody in their group, even though it was formed by one of them. You don't really know. Well, everybody knows who formed it, but there's no like official titling of who formed it. And so if something happens and the person who founded Team 10 gets under controversy, Team 10 itself doesn't fall apart, because it's kind of its own entity, even though it was founded by somebody. So like we could call it like the B2Gaming Group, or the Penguin Group, or the Igloo, or something like that. But those kind of names,
it's like a community thing. Like it's like, you join it, you get entered in and stuff like that. So it's just something kind of cool. I just like that because it's like, it's obviously like an igloo is like a structure type thing. So people enter it and they kind of stay a while. So I just kind of like kind of thought of that, and it's like it goes with the whole winter theme, and like penguins are like living like Arctic and cold and stuff like that. So it just makes more sense. That's just how I thought of it. It makes sense that way.
Well, I know, but I'm just saying, whenever you create a group under that, if anything ever happens to you, that group will get poorly reflected on, because it's very obvious who formed that group. Like, Team 10 is just 10 members joined together. It has no association with the person who formed it. The igloo, obviously, it has an off-lot association to you, because it's not, you're not called Penguin Igloo or anything like that. So there's no direct naming association, but there's still just a mild association that, like, it puts a lot of... The problem really isn't that I'm scared that you're going to make any mistakes. The problem is it puts a lot of pressure on you to kind of stand above the rest, because if anything happens to you, it reflects poorly on all of us.
Yeah.
And so that's the thing that I worry about when forming a group, is just... I don't like putting that pressure on anybody. Like, I wouldn't want to put that pressure on myself or you or anybody else in our group. Like, I wouldn't want to call it the Fox group either, because that puts a lot of pressure on Poor Stacks, because that's his emblem, as he uses foxes for everything.
Yeah.
It's like that's like the Fox crew or something like that would be cute, but then that puts a lot of pressure on him and his channel to stand above the rest. And so that's the other thing I get nervous about. And so that's why I think that we should go into that critically at some point and ponder what a good name is. And honestly, if any of the listeners have any good names as well, we're always open to suggestions. We'll give a shout out.
Yeah, I know I have a Instagram page. I haven't posted anything since like back in March, but I have an Instagram page for my YouTube channel, and I just haven't gone through and posted anything because I forget I have it half the time. So I definitely need to go through that and start posting more there to kind of help promote there too, because there's a chance people can see you on Instagram as well. So I obviously have to go through there, and I can do like little updates or like stuff that's going on in my life, like get a raise or something, or like today I got a certificate because at my job I passed 90 days, so they gave me a certificate and a free lunch bag.
So proud.
So, and it's like I could do like little updates on like my life, or like if like I'm gonna go on a trip or something, or like go, I don't know, do something. I can post stuff on like the story, or like upload pictures and videos and stuff, just random stuff,
Oh yeah, and that's why everybody probably always checks down our description. I have to get your Twitter also for our description eventually.
I have to work on it, so don't worry about that.
Oh, okay. But I have my personal Twitter listed under B2Gaming, because I am the head of the channel, and so I always associate the channel with myself and vice versa. And obviously I always take comments and suggestions and anything through there, because obviously that is you giving me suggestions, and then I give my channel suggestions. But I have thought about forming like an official Twitter for my channel, just because the other premise I always say is whenever people ask for my Instagram, I always give them the predestined that my Twitter is that my Twitter is my personal Twitter. And so sometimes, obviously, the majority of the time I just talk about the projects that I'm doing. I talk about my professional life, and I would never put anything on my Twitter that I wouldn't want anybody in the professional sector or anybody else to see. But at the same time, it's not B2Gaming Twitter, it's Bryce's Twitter. So sometimes I do put some thoughts, feelings, and also I just randomly tweet out some funny things sometimes that is not always fully associated with my channel, because last night I had a little thing over that. Somebody was tweeting at me, and I forgot what it was all about, but I just, obviously, how I do politics and other stuff like that. And so I was retweeting like NPR or somebody. It was somebody random, and I didn't even actually comment on the retweet. I just retweeted them. But somebody reached out to me and they were like, "Oh, does this reflect on your channel?" And I was like, "Gosh, no." I was like, No. I was like, "This is my personal Twitter. I do this jazz myself." I was like, "This isn't a reflection on any of my projects." And so that was the thing that I've never had that happen before. I've never actually had anybody go to my like Instagram, Twitter, or anything and try to associate like my channel and me. Because normally I say I obviously sponsor my channel, but my channel technically doesn't sponsor me. Because my channel is like its own entity, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I got you.
And so I have had to, it's on the to-do list now that I'm going to create an official Twitter for B2Gaming so that only things that are affiliated with B2Gaming will be on there. And then if you're interested in me more as a person, you can go to my personal Twitter. So that is an endeavor that I have to go into. I forgot to tell you about that yesterday. I was going to tell you. But it was really late at night, so I knew you were sleeping, so I just put it on the to-do list to tell you eventually.
If you do want to know my Twitter, it is mini_penguin with 2 N's at the end.
We love that. Penguin.
Yeah. Well, I mean, some YouTubers and stuff do that too, so.
Oh yeah, I always like the YT. That's what I did for Twitch, because I have no idea who has B2Gaming on Twitch, but whoever you are, I'm angry at you because I never needed to do the YT anywhere else, because B2Gaming was a pretty original name. But somebody snatched it on Twitch at some point before me, and I was like, dang.
I would have done that with my Twitter, but it's like, it would make no sense because I stream to Twitch and upload to Twitter, so to like do that, just like, it would be like, yeah, but at the same time, like, it would just kind of take away, because...
Oh yeah, I get that. Yeah. But yeah, so eventually B2Gaming Twitter will be down in all my descriptions, everybody, so don't worry. But obviously I'm never going to make my Twitter private or anything, because like I said, that Twitter is 90% professional with just an undertone of knowing that it is personal, so sometimes I will tweet out some things that people may not mark as professional or may not mark as something that they agree with or anything else. Because even some of my jokes they're hilarious, but sometimes people just get triggered by them for no reason. And you've heard my jokes. I'm not a very, in all of my correctness, my jokes are like the thing that stem away from being offensive.
Yeah.
Occasionally I have something that's a little sketchy, but most of the time I'm pretty good with my humor.
Most of the time.
Most of the time, yeah. I won't act like I'm a saint. I'm sure that there's been 1 or 2 times that I definitely could have played something off a little more graceful.
Yeah, that's
overall,
the
I
thing with,
consider
the
myself
internet.
good.
Whatever you post, whether it's nothing wrong with it, it's just a harmless picture or something, someone's gonna find some reason to turn it against you and make it bad. That's the issue with the internet nowadays.
Oh yeah. And like I said, that's the funniest thing about that whole Twitter situation is I would understand it if I retweeted something and then commented something personal with it, added a comment to the retweet, just because that, I could maybe say something that somebody just doesn't agree with, which I understand. But the act of retweeting, I feel like, is spreading news, but it's also not always fully making a comment on what the news story or the subject or whatever might have been like. I always retweet whenever David Fry tweets out about a Minecraft Bedrock beta. That's not me saying that I'm the Bedrock beta developer or that I got the first news of the beta. That's just me spreading the information that the beta is being released. So, that's an example of that's no direct commentary from me. That's just me telling everybody that the beta's out. And so you can go download the beta if you want, or if you don't like the beta, you can just stay on the current edition.
Like me.
Yeah. And so that's the thing. I think that that's an irritating thing is whenever people come for you for your retweets. But also, whatever. People are going to be how they are. And so I will create a professional Twitter so that B2Gaming only is associated with things that it wants to be associated with. Just so nobody can attack it for my personal views.
There you go.
I'll do it for everybody. But yeah, I think is that all that you got going on really for this channel, this round of channel updates?
I would think so. There's not a whole lot else.
That's all the jazz you got going on this week?
For the most part, yeah.
Okay, same with me. I got everything pretty much out. I am excited for that No Man's Sky series. I would suggest everybody to go enjoy that.
Alright, we're going to take a short break. Hope you guys enjoy this short little music clip. I have no clue Bryce is editing this, so he can do all the work.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah,
I'm also going to put my vocals over it. If I earn $1 million right now, hold on, I'm going to check my bank account. Okay, I did not, so it's just music.
Okay, well, it has to be uploaded before you can actually check it, smart one.
Well, no, I was just gonna check it right now and just see if I made $1 million out of nowhere, but sadly I did not.
Alright.
So
enjoy this short little break. We'll be back with you guys in just a sec.
See you in a minute.
Welcome back, everybody. Welcome to Section 3, Gaming News of the Week. So, we got some pretty interesting titles and some pretty interesting things to talk about. I think they're interesting anyways. I guess we'll find out when we start talking about them. So I'm going to let Bryce kind of take over on this because he's better at doing the news section anyways than I am. So take it away, Brycey boy.
I'm News Radical. Welcome back, everybody. I hope you're enjoying the podcast so far. And this week we just got some just pretty fun news. I think we only got one blast story that I threw in here because I'm sad about it. But everything else is pretty. I think everything else is pretty fun and pippy for this week, which is really nice. Because last week, I think it was either last week or the week before, we had the Minecraft Earth shutting down and all the Microsoft stuff and just blah blah.
I think it was the week before. It was a while ago. So
all the crappy jazz. But now we got a
lot.
lot.
Starting to look up for 2021.
Yes,
sort of.
Well, I guess gold is also kind of a negative one, but it's good for us. It's just sad for the few minutes that it was different. So first, big news story, we got the Hitman 3 launch trailer gives a view of Too Many Kills. This was from Game Informer by Joe Juba. This was I threw this in there just because Hitman is now officially out and about in the world. It launched on January 20th, so it's been out for about 8 days now, which is really awesome. It's been out for a few days by the set of this podcast, too. And honestly, this is just a big, awesome deal. This is a big add-on to the series. The series was always slated to be a trilogy, and so this will be tying the end of the Hitman series for now. They said that the Hitman... what do you want to officially call it? The Hitman name will not be probably finished here, but just the trilogy of Agent... Oh, I can't remember his name, but the agent that's featured in Hitman 3. This is the end of his chronological story and everything. In the game, you get to actually visit all the locations from Hitman 2 and Hitman 1, all remastered in their new engine. And I don't know if we threw it on here or not. No, I don't think we did. But they're also adding ray tracing to it eventually. They officially announced that. So on the Xbox Series S and X, you'll be able to do ray tracing as well. And I believe the PS5 will probably be getting it as well. But that is just commentary from me because I didn't actually see any official stories about that. So that's really cool. Hitman 3 is really exciting. Didn't you say that you wanted to check out Hitman 3, Trevor?
Yeah, I did. I'm still debating it.
Still pondering?
Yeah, because it's
a good series.
Yeah, I guess I'm probably gonna see and wait, because I'll probably wait and see what my my check looks like when I get paid next week. So, well, probably
gotta make sure that Hitman cash is in there.
Well, I mean, I got holiday pay for last Monday, being I guess it's considered a holiday now. I didn't really know it was considered holiday pay, but Martin Luther King Jr. Day at my job anyway is considered holiday pay now. So for last Monday, I got 30 hours for Monday alone. So,
Ooh.
not to mention like the 24, 26, I think, hours of overtime for last week alone.
Dang, that's what we call bougie cash.
Yeah, which is nice because it's like I get double time and a half, which is, I work 12 hours, so that's double and a half, so that's 30. And then for being a holiday, we get like a bonus, like I think 100 or something. I think we do. I don't quite remember. But I think we get like some sort of like extra like little bonus because we worked that day. So it's like it's just payday for us, and it's just be amazing to see that paycheck roll in.
Oh yeah, 100%. I don't know if I'm gonna check out Hitman. I played the original Hitman. I didn't play Hitman 2, and I wasn't super into Hitman 1, but I also didn't hate it. And so I'm thinking probably they've perfected kind of the Hitman formula and stuff by now, because it sounds like this game is really
I could
enjoyable.
buy it and I'll play it and I'll let you know if it's any good. I could take the hit.
No, I would want to like purchase it with you, almost just power through it together.
I mean, I don't think it's not a multiplayer game, so I think
no.
I don't know, because like obviously I haven't played either of them. I think I've definitely seen videos of them from past from like YouTubers doing them in the past, but it's like I haven't played them because I don't think I remember really what the name of the game at the time, because it was a while ago. But I definitely have seen them now that I think about it, and so it'd be interesting,
Oh yeah, and that's why I want to play it kind of, is because I did enjoy. Well, like, I guess I should say I was indifferent about the original Hitman. Like, I didn't love it, but I didn't hate it at all. Like, it had nothing bad, it just had nothing that kept me wanting to replay it or do anything like that. And
it didn't catch your attention like some games do.
Yeah, it didn't, like, fully absorb me. It wasn't like a No Man's Sky or a Minecraft.
It wasn't necessarily, like, your style of game, essentially.
Well, I wouldn't even say that. It's just how it was implemented was just, like... Because it was it's kind of a RPG in a way, but it doesn't have any vocal lines. It just has a lot of different ways you can do stuff and a lot of different endings. But it's very linear though, because the end goal is always the same. It's just how you get there is different. And so I think that's why I was like indifferent about it. And also, Hitman 1 was a while ago, and so I was also a little bit of a different taste back then. Like, I didn't really enjoy games that had complex thinking like that. And so I think now, being the person I am, I would enjoy it way more than I did back in the day. Because back in the day, I just kind of played it and I was like, wow, this takes a lot of brain power. I don't think I want to use this much of my mind right now. And so I think that's the thing.
Yeah, getting older, like, your game style and everything, like, everything changes, so... At the time, it was probably just, you just didn't understand much of it. So.
Yeah, and I can't even remember if it was Xbox 360 or Xbox One. When was Hitman 1 released? Because if it was 360, that makes a lot of sense. But if it was 1... Oh, okay, interesting.
What?
It's 2016, which I'm guessing would have been, it's just Xbox One. Yeah, that's weird. I'm not really sure why I didn't super like it then, because I started to get into those games whenever I got the Xbox One. So it must have just not have been my cup of tea.
It could also have like depended on what you're doing at that time too, because that would have been, we would have been what, 8th grade, so
Youth,
yeah.
Back
The
when I
middle
was
school
young.
years are always the toughest.
Oh yeah. But yeah, definitely gonna check that out again. And so that news story will obviously be linked below with the official launch trailer, which is definitely worth a watch. And I think the article is pretty cute. It's just a recap of the Hitman. Well, not a recap, but it's just an overview of the Hitman series and where this one's heading. The next story is a little bit more imperative to us. No changes to Xbox Live Gold pricing, free-to-play games to be unlocked, updated. This is from Xbox Wire, and from the Xbox Live Gold team. So this was originally a article to announce that Xbox Live was going to double its prices yearly and monthly. And then there was such a large backlash on Twitter and other social medias, along with, I'm guessing they probably received a few personal emails and whatever about it, that they actually went back to the same article, changed the title from Xbox Live Gold pricing updates to no changes to Xbox Live Gold pricing and free-to-play games being unlocked. And no tea, no shade to Xbox. It was a power move probably from them. I do not think it was the best move for them, and I think that it's good that they backtracked. But in the positive light, they also extended it to match what PS Plus does now. And so now all free games like Fortnite and Call of Duty, what is their multiplayer called?
Warzone.
Call of Duty Warzone, yeah. Call of Duty Warzone, Fortnite, and other free-to-play games like that have multiplayer implementation actually won't require gold to play them. So if something happens and your gold runs out, or you just get a new Xbox and you don't know if you're going to want to play gold or play online, you can download games like that, test it out, see how the online service is, and then you can buy gold for the paid games like Call of Duty Cold War, No Man's Sky, Wasteland 3, and all kinds of other games like that.
Yes, name games that we play, don't name games that we don't play.
Well, because I don't know games that we don't play.
There's a lot of games that we don't play.
I know, but I can't remember them off the top of my head.
I know there's like games like Overwatch that you don't play, that I play.
Oh, there you go.
There's a lot of games, like, don't, so.
I can't relegate everything in my mind.
Yeah, well,
but yeah,
that's
but on top of that, they also announced that Xbox Live will be remaining at the same prices that it's always been at for at least the entire Xbox One generation. So $10 a month, $25 for 3 months, $40 for 6 months, and $60 for a year. I think honestly the biggest deal with all of this was that they pretty much got rid of 12 months and they knocked 6 months up to $60 and they doubled everything else. And so Xbox Live Gold was going to be $120 a year instead of $60, which was a pretty big deal. Oh wow, also Xbox Live Gold. Oh my god. Oh, guess what I just found out?
What?
Xbox Live is the same age as us. It is 18 years old.
Jeez. Wow.
That is so crazy. I love that. So whenever I die, Xbox Live Gold will be over 100 years old.
Well, Xbox Live, not Xbox Live Gold.
Oh yeah, Xbox Live. That is so crazy. That's so funny. I didn't even know that. Wow, that's so cool. But yeah, so prices are staying the same. Free-to-play games are now fully free-to-play on the Xbox platform. And so now I think we have perfect synergy with PlayStation Plus. And so the only difference is that Game Pass is a little bit better than their game services. I think so.
Let's not start a war. You're gonna start a war that you're gonna end up losing. Let's not do that.
No, it'll be fine. But yeah, so Xbox Live Gold will be remaining the same, and all games are free to play, which is really awesome to hear. There's a second article. Yes, there's a second article down below that one from Business Insider. Let me name drop them. Microsoft reverses Xbox Live Gold pricing hike after a fan backlash. This is from Business Insider by Grace Dean. And this is an article that I just wanted to link, just explaining what happened, where the backlash was, why they decided to do full free-to-play, and all that stuff, because I obviously don't want to bore any viewers who don't want to hear the whole spiel about every single part of that. So how do you feel about all the...
I know you'd be glad to rant about it, but we're going to save ourselves because we have a lot more stories to go through too, so...
Yeah, I want to save the viewers' precious ears, because I know all of you want to have some extra mileage on your ears after this episode, hopefully. So let's not use up all your mileage for the day on one story.
Yeah.
But I do wonder, Trevor, how do you feel about this whole story with Xbox and everything? With Xbox Live, I should say specifically.
I don't really know, I guess. Like, it's interesting, to be fair. But there's really, like, I don't really know what to take from it.
Would you have been mad if they would have kept it the same? Or I should say, like, kept the price hikes?
Yeah, I definitely would have. I probably wouldn't have, like, I probably would have canceled my subscription because, like, that's really expensive. Like, for anyone's sake. I don't care how much money, like, someone makes on a month. Like, that, to pay $120 for a year of gold is very, very expensive in my eyes.
Oh, yeah.
And it, like, I'm sure it'll eventually get there when, like, they really need that extra help to, like, really push out to get better stuff. But, like, they own so many, like, they have so many companies that they own or partner with that I think that they can kind of, like, piggyback from that. And I think, like, their whole system, like, their Game Pass system that's going on.
Yeah.
I think aren't they adding another service here soon?
Well, it's just rumored. I think we talked about it last week that it's rumored that Ubisoft Plus will be joining it.
Yes, that's right. So, like, there's a chance that that's gonna if that happens, like, that's another company that's pulling in money to help support them as well. So I really feel like they're already making quite a lot of money because of all the stuff that people buy. Because obviously, when they, like, sell games and people buy games, they don't get the full profit, but they do get a small profit from each game, like, each copy of that game sold. So to, like, up their gold price is just ridiculous, and a lot of people are gonna probably quit buying games or quit playing or quit paying for gold because, like, they already spend enough. Because, I mean, most new games that come out are $60, $70.
Yeah.
So to increase that, so you're paying $60, $70 for the game, and then another, like, $10 for gold. I mean, there's $70, $80 right there that you have to pay. Well, if they increase the amount of gold, like, paying $120 for a year plus another so you're paying pretty much like $200 to play a game for a year.
Yeah.
Which is ridiculous because, like, that's just way too much.
Oh, yeah. And I think the other thing is there is a fair fight for, like, Xbox sells the Series X at a loss, and so it does take some cuts there. And then obviously they do host all these games on their platform, but they do take away, I think it's like 15% on each sale.
Yeah.
So they do probably take away a little bit of a profit, but I'm guessing that margin isn't large. So that's where a lot of the fight comes from. But I think the main thing that we have to concentrate on is Xbox bought out thousands of dollars of studios. And yeah, that's a lot of money, but on those games, Xbox takes away 100% of the profit. So Halo, Forza, all the games on Game Pass, they don't have to pay those companies, like, quote unquote, they don't have to pay them for every sale they have on Game Pass. Yeah, because they own them. And so that's, like, the thing is, like,
the profit regardless. Plus, like, you gotta remember, every game, like, I'm pretty sure like 90% of games that have come out have some sort of, like, add-on packs, like mod packs, resource packs, like something to give the game a little extra boost. And I mean, that's just more money that they're making as well.
Yeah, I was about to say, they still take a cut off of that as well. So yeah, that's the thing, is, like, they do make a lot of profit. And so I think the models that they have now are honestly really good. I think eventually the strategy will just be to get rid of gold and go with all Game Pass Ultimate and just keep Game Pass Ultimate at the same price, because they'll have enough balance of first party studios that they'll still always probably make profit off of that even as games get more expensive. And so I think that's honestly the strat, and I think that's what they were trying to do here, is push everybody to Game Pass Ultimate. But they shouldn't have done it this way. They should have either just got rid of gold or done something else that would give Game Pass Ultimate more value to let people naturally transfer to Gold. Because like you said, it is a lot of money. Game Pass Ultimate is a lot of money, even though you get a lot for it. And Gold, honestly, comparing it to PC where everything is quote-unquote free, even stamping in the cost that it does take, you still pay a lot less on PC to play games than you do on Xbox and PlayStation. And so Gold was already kind of pricey, and I really don't think doubling the price is helping its case at all.
It really isn't, and it's like I do like the fact that they're trying to push everyone to Game Pass Ultimate alone, and kind of remove Gold, but at the same time, like, I feel like before they just hikes. Like go ahead and try and do something, I feel like what they need to do is try and like push out on asking, like, do trial stuff, send out like some sort of like community thing, try and get the community's feedback on like how they should, like, if there's a specific way they want to, like, the community wants something done, or like see what the community is thought, because like they're doing this for their play, for like who owns their consoles, so wouldn't it make sense for their users to be able to like want what they want? Because it's like, obviously, like, you don't want what your company wants, you want what your users want, because otherwise you're just going to lose a lot of users if you're not pertaining to what they want, because they're using your product. You don't want what you like. I'm losing myself right now. You don't want to push it
cater to your platform.
Way. Yeah,
you want to cater to the people that actually use the product, not just what's going to make every bit of profit for you.
Yeah, you have to cater, because I feel like the best way to make a good profit for your platform is to cater to your audience.
Oh yeah, and there has to be a little bit of a balancing act, but like from a pure ethics standpoint, yes, you should always 100% cater to the people that use your product, not to your own needs and wants and what your company prefers.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I agree with you. And for anybody who has more query on this, there's also 2 articles listed below. One is Major Nelson and other higher-ups in the company apologizing for the price hike, because they heard a lot of stories of people who can barely pay for Gold as it is, and people who live in hard households, and also, as the TikTok and other jokes go, how are we supposed to handle it in an economy just like this? Like, which, it's a funny joke, complaining about the economy, but it is true. Like, right now is not the best time to do price hikes in an economy like this.
Definitely not, because I know a lot of people, I know a lot of people
either out of work
personally that are really struggling because COVID has like really kind of taken over their lives, and like some people have lost jobs and everything, and so it's tough for them to be able to do stuff like that. So
so it is a funny joke, but also it's very real that right now is not a good time to add more, because also you have to think about people's mental health being trapped at home. You know, one of the best escapes for most people is playing video games. And so whenever you take that away from them and they can't socialize with their friends on video games anymore or anything like that, now mental health being in the pretty unstable place that it already is sometimes in modern day America, you know, I'm sure that it will not get better without people being able to play games with their friends and enjoy playing games with their friends.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
And so, you know, I'm happy that they went back on it. I'm happy that they also apologized, because if they just went back on it and said nothing, I think that's also sending a message of like, okay, we'll conform to you this time. Like, they came out and were just like, hey, we're honestly sorry. We didn't realize, we didn't think, and we care about our players. That was pretty much the message that they kind of sent. And so I'm really happy that they were nice like that.
And I think that after that, they're definitely going to try and go after more, like a better approach at this as well. So
Yeah, hopefully they're much more transparent about handling their live services after this. I really hope and pray that this was a very front and back lesson to them, that doing something as big as changing prices of a subscription service that hundreds of thousands of people are on should not be something that you do without talking to the community at all. It should definitely be a thing that you're like, hey, we're doing a price hike. How does everybody feel about that? Is that a good option? Should we do it? But hopefully they take that away, and I hope that turns out really well for them.
Yeah, I do too.
So yeah, right below this... Oh yeah. So right below those stories, right below that main story, there's 3 other stories that any of you that want to read further in are there. Want to read further into it, they're down there. The second one is about Major Nelson and Phil's response to it, talking about it from a company perspective. And the third one is just a commentary on the current lineup of what's going on, and also some commentary from a previous exec about why they made this move. So for any of you that want to quiz it further, it's down there. Next we have something that hits home to me, my poor little heart. Oh, whoopsie. I had to use this organized a little bit. There we go. So we were on... Yes, okay. So Call of Duty Warzone. This is going to be one that I'm sure you're going to have a few comments on.
Uh-oh. I was not talking about this.
Yeah, this was... I think we talked about this a little bit in the pre-show. But Call of Duty Warzone has bad news for players. And this is from... Where's... There we go. Call of Duty Warzone has bad news for players from Comic Book by Tyler Fisher. And this was a meta commentary and a private piece, I should call it, about the current complaints from people in Call of Duty Warzone about the current situations with cheating and problems with competitive play. Because obviously we talked about it in last week's show. They're bringing out competitive play. They're about to have like a whole season over it. They're about to do all kinds of stuff with competitive play and doing more esports stuff like that. And so now that they're ramping up to it, they've entered in some new series, they've entered in some new items, they've done a few updates to the maps and everything. And all across the board, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, the Xbox series of consoles, and PC, there has been explicit problems with cheaters in every single version, from every single console to every single platform that you can play on. And it is just not looking too good for them. And I kind of wanted to hear what you had to comment on the situation, Trevor, because obviously all the anecdotal evidence is just there's lots of cheaters, there's lots of problems with it, and for some reason Call of Duty, Activision, and all of them have made the choice to not comment, even though they've been prompted multiple times on it. And the only thing they've said is that they are working with cheaters, they're working on anti-cheat, and they are currently doing their best to fix everything. And that's the only comment that they've had. They commented that one time, and they've chose not to further comment on why it's happening, what's happening, or anything else. And so I wanted to hear what somebody from the community had to say about it, because obviously you are from the general COD community, and so I'm sure you have some thoughts on it.
Yeah, I know we covered this a lot last week, so I'll try and keep it like a little. I'll try and change it up, like kind of keep it a little simpler. But like basically, like cheaters have been around since COD has had an online multiplayer. They really didn't start popping up until I think Black Ops 2 is when they really started to pop up, and you really started to see them. They weren't as bad because like people got reported and cheated and banned pretty quickly then. And it was a lot easier to report cheaters back at the older CODs because the replay system made it a lot easier for them to go back and actually look at gameplay. So they could actually full on see, hey, is this person cheating? Because they would get every single report that you had, whether it was, and I'm sure they had categories. So there's a category for cheating, for offensive language, and everything. So it's like, because that stuff is recorded. Like, all of that stuff is always recorded, and it gets put into categories, I'm sure. And so cheating had its own category, and I'm sure because everyone was just like, oh, he's cheating because he's better than me. Well, but that's not how it works. And so people would report, and then just no endless list. But they would definitely file it down where I would. I honestly don't know. This is a pure guess. So for anyone who's gonna comment or yell at me for this, don't, because this is all
speculation.
This is how I would, like, if I made a game like this is how I would do it. Where if, like, each game obviously has its amount of reports, and if the same person gets enough reports from multiple different people, because, like, obviously you can report a person a million different times and it'll go through, but it will only count it as, I think, one report. I think that's how it works, because it's like you've already reported them. Reporting them again isn't going to do you any good. But if that same person gets multiple reports from multiple different people, or like the same report from multiple different people in that lobby, or from multiple lobbies, then they're going to go through and look at the old replays and be like, and kind of determine from there, oh, this guy is actually cheating, or he's got like aimbots, he turns on walls, whatever, this and that. But like with the newer CODs, cutting out that replay system kind of paves a sort of like a little bit of a walkway for cheaters to kind of get around that. Obviously,
hardcore.
Hardcore it's hard. It's impossible to tell in hardcore unless the only way to tell in hardcore was with the replay, but obviously that's gone. But it's tough now because with the removal of not only the replay system, that also takes away a bit of like security and stuff like that, because obviously a lot of the system and everything is run automatically. But it would, with that, it kind of downgrades their system a bit, taking away the ability to properly track people that are cheating and get them banned and reported and kicked off for cheating the way they are. And so it's really annoying to run into cheaters because you can report them and you can get a bunch of people to report them. Well, by the time they actually look at it, it'll probably be like 3-4 days down the road, because not only are they getting so many reports, but it's a lot tougher to go back and look at that because there's no system, and so they have to go based off how many reports does this person actually have, and do we need to kind of monitor his gameplay and make sure he's not actually cheating and it's like falsificate. It's just people falsifying it because they're not, like, he's just doing pretty good. So they really, whatever COD they decide to release this year, which, because you know they're going to, that's just how it is. But the next one they release, they should try and import the replay system back into the game, because that will make verifying cheating a lot easier, because you can properly go back and report for the right reasons, and they can, and the people that are there can actually verify that this person has actually done this. Now, obviously, like with the newer CODs, like there's a text box, so you can text and put text on the screen in the game. Which that can also, like, if you say something, you can get reported for language, which you can get, like, it's not going to be like a permanent ban, but they will put you on like a server mute where you can't type or anything for a certain amount of time, or like they might ban you for a day or two for your language if it goes on, or if it's really bad, they'll ban you for a certain amount of time, because that's what happens. Like back in the older ones, that text box didn't really pop up because there was none that popped up on the screen, because the cross-platform thing wasn't a big thing.
Yeah.
Because I don't think it really became much of a thing. Well, there wasn't cross-platform until I think it was around Black Ops 3. I want to say is when they finally implemented a little bit of cross-platforming. I think that's when it is. I could be wrong. It could be a later one, but they implemented the cross-platform playing.
Yeah.
Which, there's still no keyboard system to type to people, so it's kind of hard to report people for language. But now, any text is obviously recorded, and it can be seen even after the game is done, and you can still get reported because it's saved in a file. So you can't get banned for text speech because reports for speech get put into a separate file, I would guess. So there's really a lot on this. I could go on for hours on how their whole system is and how it or how it probably is, and how it should be improved, because they really need to work more on going back and having a more secure system, because Black Ops 2 obviously it wasn't the most secure system, but there wasn't as many cheaters because it was more closely monitored. Even after Advanced Warfare was released, it was still closely monitored because so many people were still playing it, and so it was a lot closer monitored. The newer ones here, they're closer monitored, but they're harder to go through and track stuff because there's no way to go back and re-watch all that footage unless if someone's taken and recorded it and put it up somewhere for people to see. So to go back and see that because it's saved in a file is a lot easier, because then you can properly verify stuff.
Yeah.
But since they've removed that, their defense on cheating and everything has gone down. Not to mention, and because people have made the programs to kind of slither in between the coding on cheating and make it a lot more hidden, which is the issue.
Yeah, and that's the big thing that they point out in the article, is that they said the anti-cheat in Warzone is being edited, but a lot of people are complaining because that is the main way that they're doing stuff. They have lots of, apparently the majority of cheaters have a pretty quote-unquote simple system for bypassing the anti-cheat, which is obviously not good, because like we learned last week, all of these games are built on the same engine. So if they find something that bypasses anti-cheat on Warzone, it's really likely that works on every other COD game as well.
Yeah, and I think really they need to update their engine a bit, because I think not only will their game because I think Call of Duty, it runs really well in the engine it is now. There's not a lot of issues with running it, but I think
it's a
updating
great
their engine, yeah, it really is. But updating their engine will not only update the security, but it'll also probably have it where there's because I know there's a lot of people that have issues with lag, even when they have really amazing internet. You could have high-speed internet and still get lag. I think that's partially because of the engine that it's running on.
Yeah.
And I think if they even one version newer will not only make it harder for people to cheat, because they have all these people that develop all these mod menus and cheat menus and everything. Not only do they have to try and remake it, which will take a while, but it also increases and will have a better chance of possibly running the game better and make it a lot more smooth, because there are times where it's a little buggy, and I think it's mainly because of the old engine, but updating that would obviously increase the engine and make it the game run smoother and less because there's a lot of texture glitches and stuff that happen, and it doesn't really affect gameplay, but it's buggy enough where it's noticeable, and it's sometimes it's funny, sometimes it's just annoying because it can get in your way. So with an engine update, it would definitely increase gameplay, performance, everything. So they really need to go through and work on updating all that stuff before they can really do a lot of this other stuff.
Yeah, and I was about to say that's a big thing about them is like they have full control over this because they've been using this engine for like I forget how many years it's said, but since I think the very first COD multiplayer game, at least I remember.
Which is back in, I think like the late 90s, I think, maybe early 2000s.
Yeah,
the COD's been around for well over 2 decades, I think.
And so truly the nice thing is obviously they have full control over this engine because they fully own it. And second, they are on version 3, but if I recall correctly, they've been on version 3 for quite a few games. So I'm guessing that version 4 is on the cusp of being needed. And so honestly, it shouldn't hurt them to update to version 4 just to get security updates and stuff. Because they develop this stuff all independently, so it's really up to them when they want to finally update the technologies. And so all they really have to do is just take the L and say, okay, let's do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's really sad. If you're a competitive player, hopefully we will have more good news from you in the coming days. But if we don't, just get ready to snipe faster than a cheater can.
Or just get lucky with a grenade.
Yeah, both would usually work.
Or Claymore, you know. There's many ways to outwit a cheater. I've seen it happen.
Oh, yeah.
Mostly with grenades, but you just gotta be quick.
I know, grenades are the kryptonite of cheaters. They
grenades
just
are like everyone's kryptonite. Everyone hates grenades. Like, grenades and Molotovs are the worst. Everyone hates them.
I concur, I agree.
Everyone hates Molotov, or the Tomahawks as well, but that's because people have dead accuracy with them.
I know, some people are just good. Like, some people just throw them at the beginning of the match at like a 45-degree angle and just boom.
Well, yeah, and it also depends on the map, because I know there's a lot of Modern Warfare maps that were like that, so...
Yeah.
I don't know of many Cold War maps, because most of the Cold War maps are pretty...
I usually get knifed at Nuketown.
Nuketown is definitely... Well, that's because Nuketown's always... It's been the same size. It hasn't changed in size one bit.
Yeah.
But most of the maps are a pretty big size.
Yeah.
So it's pretty hard to hit them unless if you're like the luckiest person in the world.
Yeah, 100%. But yeah. So that's always my favorite thing in there is just like getting knifed or getting tomahawked randomly at the beginning of Nuketown. It doesn't happen much, happily, but whenever it does, I'm like, I can't even be mad. So what do we have going on here? What the heck? Oh. Yes, so next, YouTube finally enables HDR support for Xbox consoles, The Verge by Tom Warren. So this was just a big one for any of you with a multimedia setup or with a 4K beautiful display. HDR was not offered, I believe, at all on the last generation, Xbox One X. There were, like, it would display on the TV, but no multimedia apps supported it. So this generation, Hulu and Netflix, I believe, allow their HDR content to stream in HDR over console. But YouTube was kind of the last contender that just didn't give it up. And so finally, as of the 22nd, they finally kind of loosened up and released an update so that the general HDR content can be streamed. There are some exceptions, but in general, if there's some fun HDR content that you enjoy on YouTube, you'll be able to watch it in its full glory now. Obviously, you'll also have a $700 TV, so you kind of deserve this freebie. But yeah, that's really nice for anybody out there, and also for the future, because eventually 4K will be the same price as 1080p, just like every other evolution in TV technology. So eventually we'll all be able to see it, but by then it will probably be the Xbox Series W, and so we'll see how long it takes for us to get that ability to the mainstream people. But for all you tech nerds out there, there you go. You got your HD support. HDR support.
Yeah.
I always love it just because it has like what they call deep blacks, which is like a colloquial term. It's really just called true black pixels. And it just means that like if you're looking in a dark room on a display, it looks like you're looking into like true darkness. There isn't that little bit of light behind it. it's just like pitch black on your display. I love that.
I think it also depends on TV too. Like, it also based on like what you're watching, what kind of TV you have it hooked up to.
Well, that's why they have like HDR, because if you have an HDR TV, then it always looks the same. That's kind of why that standard exists, is because it's like a standard that they have to like approve of. So if your TV, so like if your TV supports HDR, it has to go through like a certification process and all that jazz.
I don't even know what my TV supports.
I know mine's 1080p, but I think it's just... Oh, yeah. I think mine's just 1080p cash. I don't think it has any special certifications. It's just a nice 1080p display. Honestly, I kind of want to play on an old, like... what do they call those? Oh my gosh, those old TVs that almost had to, like, heat up.
The box
before,
TVs?
Like, yeah, like before LCD technology was really common.
That's black and white.
Well, no, the colored ones that they had like the giant tubes in them and everything.
Yeah, and I almost wonder if I had one of those growing up.
Oh my gosh! Oh, I'm remembering the name. It's like plasma TVs. That's what it is.
Oh yeah,
the classics. Okay. Anyway, my age is showing, even though I'm probably not much older than most of our listeners, but it's okay.
We're probably the oldest ones out of everyone.
Possibly, you never know.
Yeah. Granted, I don't know how many younger people are actually listening to podcasts, to be honest. But
I know that's.
I don't really know. I've always enjoyed podcasts.
Oh yeah, 100%.
They're one of those things where you could just put them on, like if you're driving, you can put them on in the background, and just like it makes time go. Like you can just kind of think about it and still go on with your day. Like it doesn't take up your time. That's the nice thing about them. Like you can put them on in the background, and they're just like that extra noise, which is very handy.
Oh yeah, and that's what a lot of people say. That's why a lot of people say that they really enjoy podcasts. That's because like it is something that you can multitask with, so that you can get your news and you can get your great commentaries from B2Gaming and Mini Penguin Gaming. But you can also
sponsored.
Sponsored. But you can still like clean your house with Mrs. Maid cleaning products sponsored. No, just kidding. No, but you can still clean your house and do all kinds of stuff like that, and just be able to multitask while also enjoying.
Or listen to it in your brand new B2 Gaming car. Hashtag sponsored while you're driving down the road.
Yeah. Electric partnered with Tesla.
Okay. That's a stretch right there.
Nah, that would be the only car that I would sponsor. I would love it. It would be great.
Every time I hear Tesla, I just think of what was it? I think it was Tesla. Where didn't they come out? Wasn't it like their Cybertruck, where they were supposed to be like showing it off, and then like they accidentally like shattered the windshield or whatever, or a window.
Yes.
And that wasn't supposed to happen, and like that just turned into a meme. That's like every time I think of Tesla, that's the first thing that pops up.
Yeah, and I always feel so bad because, first of all, to be fair, they threw like an iron ball, and so like it not breaking through the window is still very impressive. Even though it did, like, the window had cracks in it, but it didn't actually go through the window, which I think is pretty impressive. But yeah, it was supposed to be like completely shatterproof, like nothing was supposed to even have cracks on it. So it's good that it didn't get penetrated, but obviously it wasn't as shatterproof as they were hoping it would be. But it sounds like it was kind of funny. They said that it was because they threw iron balls at it like before the show multiple times to make sure that it wouldn't break, and then it got like a hairline fracture and then broke.
Yeah, don't throw it at like a different window that you're gonna like showcase. Like, just throw it at the other side of the car that's not gonna get showcased. Like,
I don't know why they did it on the same side that they tested it on. Because
like,
if it worked on the test side, use the other side because it's the same glass.
Yeah, like it's all the same glass. Like, wait, I don't think people plant obviously it's like you don't plan stuff very well.
I think they just had high confidence.
Way too high of confidence.
Yeah, next time I think they'll probably be more cautious. Test it on one side and then do it on the other.
Or they'll just test it on the same side and have the same results.
Yeah, maybe they'll just follow through. Who knows? Our next story is the one that hits home with me. Xbox battery packs have one glaring oversight. This is from CVG by Aaron Greensbon. I'm just gonna be straight up. So the old console batteries, it's called the plug and play kit. They came with a USB-B cord that had a little light on the top, which was super cute and awesome. And it told you when your battery is fully charged, so you always use that cord just so you could see when it's fully charged. It was super nice, and I will say 100% nicest USB-B cord I ever got. That it was like super long, it was super nice, had no battery problems, like it didn't charge slower or anything. Awesome. So the new Xbox controllers come with USB-C, so obviously they had to update the plug-and-play kit to support them. And they include a USB-C cord that's really long and really durable, just like the old one. But for some reason, they got rid of the alert light that allowed you to check when it was done. And I was like, oh my gosh. Oh, sorry. Got a message, random message. Yeah,
sorry,
it got rid of.
Just cut out.
No, you're good. It got rid of the random indicator light, which was how you could tell when your controller was fully charged, and I'm really mad about it. And so I'm mad about it. I'm triggered, but it's fine. You know, I'm gonna survive. I'm just mad.
Did they tell you how long it takes to charge though when it comes to the kit?
I don't honestly.
That usually has it usually sells you like how long it takes to charge before it's a full charge, so you can kind of base it off of like when you plugged it in versus like you should unplug it or like close to.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I'm sure that they give you some kind of indication, but obviously with products like that, it's hard to do stuff like that, because if you have it plugged into different power bricks, because it doesn't come with a power brick, so it doesn't know what you're going to plug it into.
Anymore.
I know, yeah.
Like I got new headphones, 2 different pairs of headphones. Neither came with a power brick. Like, how the hell do you expect them? Like, how am I supposed to charge them? Like,
yeah.
Because now I gotta go out and buy a power brick. Because, like, you know, maybe I got headphones, but you know, I only have one power brick, and I have to charge my phone at night. Well, I want to use these the next day, and they're dead. How am I supposed to charge them?
Oh yeah, and that's like it's a mix of.
Because not everyone has computers and consoles and everything that they can just plug it into.
I was about to say, and I think that's part of the precedent is like iPhones have had, because the iPhone just got rid of its power brick recently, and their justification was like most people, if you've had more than 2 iPhones in the previous year, then you guaranteed have 2 probably working power bricks, because they're very reliable, I will say. So their justification was almost everybody has multiple power bricks, so they should just use them. But you know, for me, it's like I have a bunch of power bricks laying around my room, and it's like I use them normally. I don't like do anything to damage them. They just go out on me. I've had so many bricks just go out on me, and I don't like. Now they just sit around my room because like I can't really throw them in the garbage because you're not supposed to do that. So like, yeah, and
they sit there and they're useless because they don't work anymore. So that's the thing. Like they're starting to make them slightly cheaper because they're not making them as durable, and like they're not working the best like they used to.
Yeah, and I think part of it is like on smaller devices, like consumer devices, I think they should include power bricks. But like with the AirPods Pro and the AirPods Max and like really expensive devices like that, I kind of understand them not including a power brick because it's already expensive, and if you're buying something high-end like that, you probably should already have the hardware for it ready, or you should be encouraged to buy the best hardware that you can afford for it to help it out. But for like smaller cheaper headphones, normal headphones, consumer headphones, stuff like that, I think that they just don't include power bricks. Or even like these power
cheap considering they're a YouTuber brand.
Yeah. And same with like the Xbox. Yeah, yours would be considered like consumer because those are sold to normal people, you know what I mean? And same with these Xbox plug and play kits. Yeah, you probably have an Xbox One that you can plug it into, but do you really want to fill up all your ports with chargers for your controllers? You probably want your ports open for extra storage and other stuff like that.
All my ports are already plugged up. There's only 3 of them, and I have one hooked up with a cord so I can plug in and charge my headset every night. I have my headset, like, because I have to have like a tower kind of thing, a block that I have to plug in so it connects to it. I have to have that plugged in, and then I have my external hard drive plugged into it for extra storage. So.
And I will say I do have a hypocrite moment here, because I will say the nice thing is they've set a precedent of doing with doing all USB-C for all Xbox accessories from here on out. And so I will say what I did was I took my Turtle Beach headphones, the new ones that I got that were super expensive, and they came with a really nice, not braided, but just thicker USB-C cord. And so I just keep that plugged into my console all the time, and then I just switch from charging my headphones to my controller whenever I feel whichever one is more appropriate. And I will say that is nice. Like, that's a nice precedent, and like I said, that only takes up one port because it's the same cord on both. And so it is nice, but still I think they should include like power bricks and support people in that way.
Yeah. And I will say though, like with it, when it comes to like charging cords, a lot of companies are starting to switch to USB-C because they're, I think, slightly cheaper to make. They're a little better for the environment, I think. Charging times is a lot quicker and stuff holds a lot better charge. And then plus it's universal on which way like it flips, which is kind of nice. Yeah. So there's like really no like upside down or anything, and it's kind of nice because most devices use that now. Is iPhone starting, like, is Apple, like, are their products starting to switch over to USB-C, or do they still have their special Apple-made charging sets?
For everything consumer level, it's all Lightning. For everything professional level, it's all USB-C.
Yeah, because I know, like, a lot of stuff is switching to USB-C because it's a lot easier to have one type of charging out, like, plug-in than, like, 10 different ones for, like, 10 different devices. So, but it's I think it's a lot better because it's a little easier on, like, electricity use because stuff charges faster using it, so it's not using as much electricity, I think.
Well,
I can't remember what it was. There was something about it where USB-C is a lot better because of the way it runs versus the older USBs and everything.
Yeah, and that's the main thing, is just from a technical perspective, the USB-C uses what's called a full bus, which means that it can do everything. So USB-C can be an HDMI port, a power port,
right. Yeah, true.
A data transfer port. And so, like, that's why it's favored, is because being that largely multi-tooled, you can put it on small devices and allow those small devices to do lots of stuff. And also, since everybody syncs all their resources into one port instead of 20 different ones, there's, like you said, this is where your point comes in. There's a lot more research and foundation around it. So it can utilize power way more efficiently. It can have a lot more device control over it. Like my headphones, they stop charging after they hit 100%. They go down to a trickle charge, so they only accept like 1/100th of how much power they can actually take in, so that they can stay at 100%, but it doesn't ruin the batteries. That was almost impossible with old USB standards because it took so much time and research to do that on each individual device. But with USB-C, there's research out there for free that companies can use to do that. And so now lots of companies do that. And that saves a lot of energy and also makes your batteries last a lot longer health-wise because it doesn't overcharge as much.
I honestly forgot that you can use that as like an HDMI kind of cable. Because I remember, now that I think about it, I remember hooking my computer up to a TV by just using a USB-C cable and just running stuff from my computer to the TV and playing it off that way. I forgot.
Oh yeah, and there's lots of...
forgot about that.
Yeah. And there's lots of dongles too, like you can almost dongle... I think you can literally dongle everything to USB-C. Like you can get like a dongle for every single port to USB-C.
Yeah, I think so. And I know, because I know computers nowadays are actually being built with USB-C plugins, so you can plug it like the port directly to the computer. So that's nice to have.
Oh yeah, and like I said, whenever I talked about all of Apple's Pro stuff, their laptops now only come with USB-C. So you can literally get a dongle for every single port directly from Apple, and then also you can charge it from any port on the computer now because they're all USB-C and they all accept power. So you can plug it in on either side. So if you're sitting somewhere where one side is awkward to plug in the power cord, you just plug it into the other side. And you can plug anything else you want into any side because there's no preference. They all work the exact same way, which is really awesome. So that's what I like about it, just the flexibility to like plug it in any way you want and do whatever you want low key.
Yeah.
And then finally, for our last news story, back on a little bit of main subject. Our final news story is just for all of you who are still looking for an Xbox Series X or even PS5. Target, GameStop, Walmart, and even more retailers are now restocking them in very high quantities, and they're also controlling the amount of stock sold way tighter. So even though this story was published a while ago, you all should be able to go out to any one of those stores and at least get in a pre-order or a request for one of those devices. So that's just down there below to give you tons of stuff. And you want to know the funniest thing? You want to know the best place to get them right now?
I have a feeling it's at Target.
No, it's Kohl's. Or no, sorry, Sam's Club. Sam's Club. Sorry.
Like a Sam's Club.
Because Sam's Club is owned by Walmart, and so Walmart just like very sneakily sneaks Xboxes over to Sam's Club. So that nobody sees the restocks and they can sell them there without it going out of stock every 10 minutes.
Plus, with Sam's Club, you have to have a membership to actually be able to buy anything from there.
Oh yeah, so you might even get it cheaper, honestly, because I'm not sure if they do, because they usually sell everything a little bit cheaper because of that membership. And so I don't know if they do mass sales with the Xbox Series X, but if they do, you might get it a little bit cheaper. I'm sure it won't be $100 or anything, but a few dollars is a few dollars, especially in this economy.
Yeah, that's for sure.
So yeah, go get your Xbox Series X's, PS5s, or whatever else you play right now. And you know what? I also heard Nintendo Switch is selling well, which is really cool.
I want to get a Switch, but they're really expensive. Like,
the
it
Switch
would be
lights
nice
aren't
to
too bad.
have, but just, I don't know, it's kind of expensive. Like, it's a tablet pretty much, but it's like $300 right now, so it's, I don't know, I want one, but they're expensive.
I was about to say, I wouldn't really consider it a tablet. I would consider it like a full-blown console that is mobile.
Yeah, it is. It really is, I guess.
But it is. It's a little expensive for the technology, but for the mobility and the having all of the Nintendo IPs, I think that brings the price to an honestly reasonable area. I do think that they're a little pricey, but speaking full truthfully, I really don't think that they're like crazy.
Yeah, I mean, don't go to Walmart to get it though. Selling it for
I know Walmart always has
$50.
Yeah, they have some weird price hikes sometimes.
I mean, it'd be cheaper to get it off of like Amazon or I think GameStop.
We love GameStop. We just had, so everybody knows, quick little in the loop
moment.
moment.
Thing too is like you also have to remember there's two different kinds of Nintendo Switches. There's the Switch Lite and then the Switch. one has removable controllers and one is just one thing completely built together. So there's also that to remember.
Yeah, like I have the Switch Lite and I like it. I think honestly the Switch is like $100 more than the Switch Lite. I fully think that it's worth it because if you think about it, if the controllers on my Switch Lite ever go bad, then I'm pretty much done.
Yeah.
Like I'll either have to get them repaired or I'll have to just scrap it and buy another one. On the Switch, if your controllers go bad, even though I've heard that the Switch is a little bit more likely for them to go bad just because of how they're built differently. But if they go bad, all you have to do is buy new ones. So even though they might be more likely to go bad, they're also way easier to repair because you literally just get rid of them and buy new ones. Or you can get them repaired for like a semi-sensible price.
Plus, I think it's a little easier because you can hook up a lot more controllers to that one than you can a Lite. So,
well, semi. Like all the normal Pro controllers still work on the Lite. It's just you can't get different Joy-Cons.
It is a little easier to do it on the regular than the Lite. So,
I don't know. I think that's negotiable. You just have one less option because you can't have the Joy-Cons.
Well, say if you're playing with a friend, like you can take the controller off and put it down, and both of you can play with like different controllers. So it's a little easier to do some stuff with the Switch than the Switch Lite. So.
Yeah, it's easier to like multiplayer, but like just connecting them, they work the exact same way. Connecting like third-party controllers and stuff.
Yeah,
that's what I thought you were talking about that, and I was like, it's pretty much the same. Yeah, I do agree. Multiplayer is a little bit easier. It's much easier to like just play online if you have a Switch Lite.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's all of our big news stories for today. Oh, and our last one, just to keep everybody in the loop. This is just from me. GameStop is lit, everybody. We might be able to keep it around for another year, so go buy stocks. That's all. They'll understand if they look it up. Hopefully they go and keep our GameStop alive. They might, you never know. I won't leave a story linked because I don't want to... I'm just lazy. I don't want to get a story because there's so many different ones. But, yeah. GameStop is lit right now. Hopefully it stays around.
Oh, it definitely is. It's just a matter of how long.
I know. I'm hoping that we can keep it. I hope it just stays around. Like, I hope that they just fix themselves, fix their business model, and just stay around so I can have a little piece of my childhood for the rest of my life.
Oh, yeah. For sure.
But all we can do is hope for them at this point.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I think that's all the news stories. So, you want to switch us over to the next segment?
I sure do. We'll see you guys after our short little break. We'll see you in our final section.
Dance to the caramba, woo!
Welcome back, everyone. We are down to our final section of this
episode. A party.
So this one is going to be short and sweet. We kind of changed it up a bit because we felt that we had already talked about what we had before. So we're just going to talk about we each picked a game, and we're just going to kind of talk about the game itself and kind of like what we want to see in the future, or like stuff that we think would be kind of cool. So I'll let Bryce start off.
As Squidward said so elegantly, future, which I feel like is very proper to what we're talking about.
I'm old. Like
I'm old. Yeah, we're ancient.
Shush. SpongeBob is older than us, so
yeah.
But because he can't, the first ever episode aired in 1999, so he's
aesthetic,
quite older. But it's funny because it's like I grew up watching SpongeBob, and I don't know why, but I've always loved him. I don't care how old I am, I've always loved SpongeBob.
Yeah, I love SpongeBob.
Alright, back on the topic.
Yeah. So the game that I chose was a game that we just started just because it's so close, and I don't know if you're going to concur with this, or agree, I should say, with this or not. But it's No Man's Sky, and the only reason that I picked No Man's Sky is because I feel that it is so close to being the most perfect exploration, strategy, friendly game. Like, it is so close to being honestly, just the perfect.
Pretty interesting. Like, I love exploration in games. Like, Minecraft has pretty fun exploration, but after playing like this game, my views on exploration has changed a lot because it's
drastically.
It's honestly probably one of the most fun exploration games I've ever played. It's just amazing.
And like the level of variety without costing performance. Like the game isn't like 120 frames per second, runs super easy, and like the perfect game that just has like no frame drops or anything. But like they
400 gigabytes of storage either. It only takes 5 at max, which is nice.
Yeah. And so like it isn't the most perfect game because like you said, like well actually on the storage front it's pretty nice for what it does. But on the technical side, like it doesn't run perfectly. It's not the best game in the whole world for optimized performance. But like it runs unbelievably well for, in retrospect, having like I at least know there's thousands of different actual planets in the game, and I'm sure hundreds of different universes. And for all of that, like creating all of that, dealing with all of that, doing all that kind of stuff, and still being able to optimize it enough that you really don't have any problems with performance, I think that is impressive in and of its own right. So I just wanted to, first I want to give some attention to the game because me and Trevor have both absolutely been in love with it. Yeah. But second, I wanted to talk about a little bit of where I want to see the future because, like I said, it is just almost there. It is perfect exploration-wise. It has such amazing world building. It is such an interesting game. It is so involved. It is so fun. But there are just a few little things that if they could just crank it up just one little notch, it would just make the game all truly the most perfect multiplayer exploration, building, and story build, or I should say world building, because it's not really a super comprehensive story, but the most amazing world building game in the world. And I think one of its big weaknesses is honestly the multiplayer. The multiplayer of No Man's Sky it's good because there are definitely some games that implement it worse, because you can transfer items between people both in your party and outside your party. You can see each other, which is sometimes difficult for games. I don't know why, but sometimes they'll have multiplayer games where you can't even see your partner, or there's some kind of weird glitch or a way that it's implemented. So I'm really happy that they implemented it pretty straight up, with you guys just seeing each other like normal people in the game. And like you can build on each other's bases, you can add different items to each other's bases, you can use each other's stuff. But where it falls short a little bit is like if I log off and me and Trevor work together to build a base, but I claim the base, then sometimes Trevor won't be able to use some items in the base, or he won't be able to...
I won't be able to edit the base. Like, I can use everything in it, I just can't edit it in any sort of way. Even if it's stuff that I have placed down, I'm not able to remove it or anything like that, which is really annoying.
Yeah, and like I get that for the aspect of like also people out in the world, you can set the settings so that people out in the world can edit your base. And so I do understand it from that perspective, because obviously once you log off, even if you have that setting on, I'm sure you don't want people to edit stuff while you're not there. But that's why I think there should be some kind of group or some kind of clan or, whatever you want to call it, some kind of system where you can add your friends to a collection of close people that always have permission to use your resources, edit your base, do stuff like that. Because we all have one or two friends that we play in co-op that we literally can trust to edit our base, use our resources. Like, we can trust them to communicate that stuff with us. And so I think that there should be a way to... Yeah, like us, literally. So I think there should be a way for you to allow those people to do that kind of stuff, because like Trevor, that can be a little irritating, because if he needs to just grab one thing or deconstruct one thing and move it to add something else or anything like that, like he can't do that while I'm not online. And so even though he can do a lot of the game and he can still have a lot of fun, it's just that little extra mile that lets Trevor have like a little bit of extra fun whenever I'm not online or I'm busy doing something or whatever.
Or like, say you go out of town for a weekend and it's like, I want to get stuff done and kind of help us like get farther on
progress
the game. Like I can't do anything because like you have to be logged in or whatever. So it's just
yeah, and I think that just allowing, because I don't think that would honestly be very hard for them, because they do have an online system for cross-platform friends. And so they're already almost there, because now you can have a friends list that kind of works independently of Xbox and PlayStation and all that. And so if you just extend it one more little notch and make it so that you can add those friends to groups and allow you to add those friends even on the same platform, because for some reason it doesn't let us add each other as No Man's Sky friends if we're Xbox friends.
Xbox friends. I think that's the only reason, because it's like cross-platform is a little different than
because you can't
same platform, just because of like the way the friend system works. Like Call of Duty is a little bit different in terms of like, because you can really with Call of Duty you can really like play that and just sign into your account on any device.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
No Man's Sky, it's only like if you have an Xbox account, you're gonna have like your Xbox friends, but if you like, it's not gonna transfer if you have a PlayStation account. Like you're not gonna be able to sign into the same thing, because like Call of Duty now has it where you have to sign into, I think it's an Activision account to do that. But it's kind of nice because it transfers between whatever console you do. But No Man's Sky doesn't have that same sort of system, because I think Call of Duty is the first game to really do this. Don't quote me, I could be wrong, I could be very wrong, I'm sure there's other games that do that, but it's the first one that I've personally seen that does that, so that's kind of the way they run. Obviously No Man's Sky doesn't run that exact way, but you gotta realize that they're still a pretty small game, and I'm sure they have a lot of big updates, so I'm sure that's something that maybe they'll set up something where that'll happen in the future. So
yeah, and that's what I'm saying. I that's pretty much the point that I was about to make, is I want them to do something like Activision, because and to broaden you, the first people to really do that was honestly Fortnite and Minecraft, actually, because Fortnite you set with an Epic account.
True.
And Minecraft, you do a Mojang account universally. And so it's sad No Man's Sky isn't actually owned by Microsoft, because that would actually be perfect for them, because they could just implement the Microsoft account association that Minecraft uses, which would probably be less work for them. But since they are an independent studio, I think something like an Epic Games account, which obviously they wouldn't do that, but something like an Activision account would be pretty obtainable for them, just creating their own. I think Hello Games is the company that makes it. So if they would have a Hello Games account, that would work perfectly. Because like you said, that's the last little bit that we need, is now we have friends on other platforms, so we do have a friends system set up, but all we need is an association system, because you can't add friends from the same platform just because of how the infrastructure of friends lists work on platforms. And so all they need to do is create a Hello Games account so that you can have friends on the same platform, and that allows you to make groups even if people are on the same platform, and that allows you to do these multiplayer features. So they're almost there. They literally have the infrastructure set in place. All they have to do is finish it, because it's just almost there. It's like literally probably a week's worth of work could get it right there. And so that's the one thing, is like I really am excited to see them do that, because that's really interesting and I really love that. And I really think that is useful. The second one that I will say is like an unpopular opinion is the I'm getting accent. the planets, they did a whole update in the most recent update where they added a lot of planets with a lot of diverse animals and other stuff. And so one complaint from the community that I understand and we talked about privately was they decided to just add these planets into the mix so that it wouldn't reset people's builds. But honestly, I think a universal reset would be really nice, and then maybe just return all of your materials to the people, or do something where they can just have a blueprint of their base and put it back down or something.
Yeah, I think like having a blueprint system would actually be very smart too, because it's like obviously like you probably want to save it, but like you don't want to have to like rebuild it hand by hand, so you could just like copy it and stuff. Just like a one-time kind of thing. If your base gets reset, obviously like you're not just gonna take the whole base and just move it, but like something kind of like that.
Yeah, and that would just be nice because then we could get a clean reset on the whole universe. And what I've heard is you can tell the difference between old planets and new planets, because new planets, the way that they generate all of the terrain, like their terrain generation and their animal generation, they really improved it leaps and bounds with that update. So they said the sad thing is that those planets are so awesome that it makes all the old planets look kind of crappy, because it just is nowhere near as complex and interesting as the new terrain structure and the new way that they're generating animals. Because I did also learn that how they generate all those animals randomly is they just have like a pre-selected thousands of pieces of animals, and whenever they were creating the planets, they just randomized each animal, and if any looked too outlandish, they would do some small edits to it. But most of the animals are just 100% randomized from like a whole plethora of different parts, which is pretty cool. But yeah, so like that's the thing. They now have perfected the system for randomized planets and animals, which is awesome. I just wish that was in all the universe. So either I wish that they would reset the universe that's there, or maybe because they have that weird multi-orbitable thing going on and the whole multi-portals and all kinds of AI weird background stuff with the story, honestly, create another universe. Create a universe that's dedicated to completely randomized planets that have been undiscovered and they're like crazy and whatever. Like that would be really cool.
What if
and I think
like I just kind of want to go into like the whole planets and like the universe thing. What if when you go to load up like a new world or whatever, or like a new like save, you could get like a selection between like 3 or 4 different like universes where galaxy in that has a completely random generation of what planets are in each galaxy. Yeah. That way, no matter which one you pick, out of all like 3 or 4 of them, each single like universe has a completely different set of planets in each galaxy. So like this galaxy could have, like the starting galaxy could have a set, like I don't know how many planets there are. Like I was about to say in each galaxy, and then you click on another save. Your starting one is a completely random like 6 planets. So it's something completely random every time you load it up. That way, it gives you a little more diversity of how each thing is laid out. Yeah, and the thing is, you do have to remember like how their generation infrastructure works is that everybody sees the same galaxy. You just get picked a random planet, and that's how weird and crazy it is. But I think your strategy could really work for them, just because they could do the galaxy that we all work in right now, that the game is based around. They just keep that and they make that galaxy 1, and they call it like the Legacy Galaxy or something. It'd be more like Universe 1, because Universe. Like each galaxy is the planets in each like. Yeah, that's what I meant. That's what I meant. Universe, I got you. Yeah. So like Universe 1 is the Legacy Universe, and that's the one that the game takes place in right now that we all experience. And then they could have Universe 2, 3, and 4 that are just totally randomized. So maybe I don't want to spoil the story too much for you, but there is a little bit of this kind of like tea inside the story. And so maybe they could have like an aggressive universe where all the planets are really hostile and there's not very many habitable planets.
And then maybe they could have like a really peaceful universe where almost all the planets are super peaceful and livable. And then maybe they could have a universe 2.0 where it's just like the legacy universe, but it has all the updated planets, all the updated structures and systems. And so it's like the original universe where it's more of a mixed bag, but it has all that new stuff. So all the planets are way more cool and way more diverse and way more interesting. I think that could be a good strategy, because then you have, for competitive players, they can go to that hostile universe. For players that are more peaceful and more into building, they could go to the peaceful universe. And then for players who are pretty run-of-the-mill and just want to have a better experience, and maybe they played day one in the original No Man's Sky, they can go to Universe 2.0, where it's just like the original No Man's Sky, but with all the fun new generation and animals. And then for anybody who did start in that legacy universe and has like 12,000 builds in it or something crazy like that, they can go to that universe and see all their old builds and continue to evolve and grow and explore some of the new planets that they added, and just live in the older universe. That kind of pleases everybody, honestly.
Yo, Hello Games, sign it, hire us. We just gave you the best possible idea. Honestly, with that, that alone, could make that game 10 times better.
Oh yeah.
Obviously it would take a bit of work, but that is a very big idea. That
oh yeah.
Implementing that into the game would give the game a whole new outlook, and it would be very interesting.
And honestly, I think the best thing about it would just be, because like we said before, they have a kind of weird server system where you can see other people sometimes, and you see other people's builds in the universe, but it's hosted on miscellaneous servers, so it's not always a guarantee that you're going to see other people, and it's not always perfect. And so maybe spreading those servers out across those 4 different servers, maybe they could host whole universes on one dedicated server then, because their player base is spread out enough. And so then you could have legitimate encounters with people out and about in the universe. You could have so many weird, interesting moments where you actually see people just living their lives playing the game solo, and you just run into them and say hello. Yeah. I think that would be really awesome and really show. It would be pretty much the perfect game of the future and of VR.
Oh yeah, for sure. And I know doing that would probably grab a few more people's attention, because it would really expand on how the game is played, because you have a lot of different options of there's a lot more options to it, which I'm sure there's a lot of people that have played the game for a while and they just restart saves and create a new save, because there's really not a whole lot you can do. But this would give them a bit more option, and they can go through, and there's new challenges because of the way that everything was generated.
Yeah. And even the last cool little snippet is they do have I will say their server technology is pretty advanced, because like we said before, you can have up to 32 people in one server now with cross-platform. And this is what we talked about Call of Duty before, and that's because they're hosted on dedicated servers. So they just, whenever you connect to another player on your platform or on another platform, you're actually just connecting to a dedicated server. So the more people that you have, it doesn't cause more lag or more problems for the host. The host is really just the person who created the server. So that's really nice too, because you don't have to worry about lag problems or anything already. And so they already do have a pretty comprehensive server technology. They just need to take it to the next step.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, so that's all I want to see from No Man's Sky. I think that's really exciting, and I think that's my whole spiel. I'm pretty excited to see the game evolve, and honestly, even if not every single one of these features get implemented, I bet you $10 that me and Trevor are still going to go ham on the game and dominate it 100%. So, you know.
Well, I'm sure, I have a feeling that there's going to be multiple streams and videos coming from both of us. I'm sure Bryce will probably upload more on YouTube than I will on the game, mainly because of where we're at right now. It's just kind of hard for me to start from there, because how do we get there, and it just kind of throws people off. So I'd have to restart, and it's just a pain. So
yeah, And we're working on restarting. We're planning on having a big restart soon, hopefully.
Well, you might, but like I'm not very far compared to you, so I haven't explored a whole lot compared to you. So like, let me catch up.
I know. We'll get you there. So what is your like big game that you want to look into now?
So I'm gonna keep mine kind of short. I know you're probably gonna either hate me or fight me on this, or try and bring up past points because we've talked about it before. So, my game is Minecraft Dungeons. Now I know they probably aren't gonna do anything more with this game, but I would like to see a bit more kind of multiplayer items go into it. So obviously, like you can join random people or like with your friends and everything. Obviously, like there's maps and everything you can play, but I want to see more like maps in the game. So obviously, like we have like you have to fight the Arch Illager. But if you think about it, when you go through that, you're in the overworld the entire time. There's like 2 other dimensions in Minecraft that they could add maps and implicate into the game. One, like. So they could add a whole nether dimension with a whole separate boss there, like a Piglin King, a Wither Skeleton King, like something, or like something else, like something different there, or like, and then when it comes to like the end, there's like the Endermites, there's the Endermen, the Shulkers, there's obviously the dragon. Like what if, like maybe the end dimension, like obviously the Ender Dragon maybe would have been like either slain or
like corrupted,
like that. And so like maybe the Ender Dragons had like a baby, and that baby took over the Ender Dragon's throne and is trying to get revenge. And so like you have to go through, and like there's a whole like, because obviously the End and the Nether have complete different structures there. So there's a whole lot that they can implement there, in terms of map designs. That I don't think they're working on it, but honestly there's a whole lot you can implement with creating different, like all sorts of new maps and dungeons to go through. Because obviously with the new with the Nether update that just came out last year to Minecraft Dungeons has the Bastion. There's obviously the original Fortress. There's the broken down portals. Like there's a lot of new structures that were added that can really extend the game to a new level and make it something a little different. So there's a lot that they could do there in terms of adding more to the game, because obviously there's like, you have all the levels and it's like to go through on each difficulty. Obviously it gets harder as it progresses, but you could get that done fairly quickly. And it's like once you get it done, well, what do? But if you add in those two separate those other 2 dimensions, and incorporate those in dungeons and stuff like that, you can add new kinds of loot, new kinds of armor, all sorts of different things, to make the game, to add more to the game, new pets, everything. Like there's a lot more you can implement if you added in those other 2 dimensions.
And I do agree with you. Like I think we did talk about it a little bit before. They do have those 2 DLC updates where they have the Extreme Hills, the Ice Biome, and the Jungle Biome. Those are the 3 DLC that they released. So they're like exploring each biome now. But I do think, honestly, I think that you are on the path of their same thinking, honestly, because you've probably seen in Spawn that they have that Nether portal that's not complete, which I definitely think
we did go and look at that too. I think we did look at that.
Yeah, and I think eventually they probably are going to have like a little DLC or something where that Nether portal is complete and you can like go through it. For the end, I haven't really seen much, and that would be an interesting one. That it kind of sucks I haven't seen much for it yet, because I do agree with you that would be really interesting.
I wonder if maybe they're working on the Nether. Maybe it's kind of more of a secret thing, and they're kind of working on the Nether. Because
100%, yeah.
Has to, like that Nether portal, like you can't put in a Nether portal and then not be working on something Nether themed. So
I
sure
agree
that they're kind of keeping it more secret until they have like a finalized or closer to finalized idea. So they're probably working on another theme. The end might be a little more tricky because obviously with the game alone, they added new few extra new mobs that aren't in Minecraft itself. So the Nether, they might do that. Maybe in the Nether, there's like a lava golem made of like lava rocks or like
maybe there's like lava villagers,
like basalt, like it's like made out of basalt with like lava like lava
with like a netherite core.
Yeah, something like that. Or like even like maybe add like some sort of like smaller wither boss, so it's not as strong as the wither boss itself, but it still is like powerful and still has quite a bit of health.
Yeah, it's like made out of the wither skeletons or something.
Yeah, because if you think about it, like you don't really think of the wither as very much having like a set dimension as of like a theme. But
I was saying that's kind of
really
its aesthetic.
Think about it,
it
is more Nether themed than anything, because to be able to create it, you have to get the items from the Nether. So they could probably implement that. Maybe like that's a final boss. Like after to get to the king or whatever they do, you have to like it spawn like your final test is it spawns like. His final defense is he spawns in and creates a wither that you have to fight, and doing that kind of like beating that kind of like scares him and he kind of like backs down or something, like, you know.
Well, I was about to say,
there's really a lot of room for expansion here that I'm sure they're probably working on, because it is an interesting game to have to work top down and design everything with, like secrets and everything like that. But there is definitely a lot of room for like some sort of expansion with this as well. So
and I think the other thing that you have to remember is also like there's a lot of story left, because how they did the 3 DLCs is after you defeat the Arch-Illager, his corruption cube breaks into like multiple pieces. And they don't show you how many pieces or where they go. And so right now how the DLC works is in each biome, or at least each biome that they've done so far, so mountain, jungle, ice, they've all had like a piece of corruption fall into them, and then the piece of corruption like spreads corruption and makes the biome go crazy, and so that's why we go there to try to save the biome. And so I'm guessing that they will probably keep the story pretty continuity fresh and just have like a piece of corruption fall into the now built Nether portal, and then maybe that piece of corruption hits like another or a wither skeleton or something, and it turns into like a mini wither boss, and so that's why you go into the Nether, is to go find the wither boss and defeat it.
Oh yeah, that could always work too, because there's really like they have a whole bunch of room for expansion here. So that would be definitely something cool that they could implement. Otherwise,
and I'm always a little stressed for them. Sorry, continue. I was gonna say I'm always a little stressed for them just because now there's only Minecraft, Minecraft Bedrock, Minecraft Java, and Minecraft Dungeons, because Minecraft World got canceled. So now I'm getting kind of nervous, because it seems like all of the Minecraft different IPs kind of get canceled, and so I'm really hoping that they're doing okay over there.
Well, I'm pretty sure Dungeons has been out longer than Minecraft Earth.
No, Minecraft Earth was out a little bit longer.
Was it?
Yeah.
But, you know, Minecraft Earth...
I think Minecraft Dungeons has been more successful, even though it's been out shorter, though.
Yeah, I was going to say...
So that's one good thing for them.
It's been more successful than the others. But, like, that's another thing. Because it's, like, obviously with, like, Earth, like, that's one game that not a whole lot of people... Because, like, I've seen commercials for Minecraft Dungeons and Minecraft. like job in Bedrock, but like I've seen commercials for those. Minecraft Earth, I haven't seen a lot of commercials for, so they didn't really push Minecraft Earth very well. Not to mention, I don't think the game ever left really beta stages, and I don't think it like.
Well, it did near like the end of its life. It was like fully released.
Okay, I wasn't quite sure. I didn't really play it a whole lot, but it didn't seem to do like it was very interesting. But I just think I don't think people really liked the way it was set up.
Oh yeah.
I think it could have, if it was set up a little differently, it would have taken off a little bit more, because I think it has that Pokemon Go kind of setup, and Pokemon Go was really popular for like a year and a half to 2 years, and then it kind of started to die, and so people kind of grew away from games like that. And I think because of how late it came out, and it didn't come out around that time, it really didn't have the chance to take off, because people kind of grew away from games like that, and so they didn't really enjoy playing games that were similar to that.
Yeah. I did look it up just to check. Minecraft Earth went into like open access, which was considered early access, but it was available everywhere. October 17th, 2019. And Minecraft Dungeons was released May 26, 2020.
Oh wow, there's actually quite a bit of gap there.
Yeah. Because I remember Minecraft Dungeons honestly isn't that old, and they've already had 3 DLCs, which was pretty impressive.
Yeah. Yeah, true.
But yeah, continue with your point. Sorry, I just wanted to check that so that we both knew. Yeah, no,
that's fine. I think that's pretty much it. Otherwise, like, the only other thing I would I think the other thing that would be kind of cool is if they had, kind of like an online, like, because, like, obviously, like, you can trade with friends and everything, but, like, an online kind of, like PvP arena kind of thing, where you can go on and, like, you can either do, like, training where you can work on, like, fighting mobs to try and, like, figure out, like, better tactics, or just kind of, like, work on understanding how to play the game better, or, like, being able to fight against your friends or other people online, like, not losing anything, but just kind of like a friendly PvP thing to see, like, kind of compare items, like, test out, like, different weapons, different armor, different kind of things to really get a feel of how they work. Because, like, you know, there's all sorts of bows, crossbows, swords, because, like, there are all sorts of weapons in the game, and to have to readjust to those is very difficult, because if, like, say you go from using a sword most of the time to using a bow, or no, going from a bow to a sword, that would make more sense. You have to go from distance to close range, and you're not quite sure exactly how strong stuff hits, because you're so used to fighting stuff at range. Well, that online PvP might be able to help you out a bit, so when it comes time for you to actually battle, and go through the dungeons, you kind of understand how they work better and how strong the mobs hit. So you can kind of play a little more tactically, because when you get weapons and you just have to go in and kind of figure it out for yourself, that kind of screws you over, because you have to, because, like, you know, you start off and then you're dying right away every time, because you're not exactly sure what to do, because you have pretty much nothing, and so stuff is very strong and your weapons are very weak, so, you know, to have that kind of, like, training will kind of, I think, would kind of help, because then you kind of can understand how the mobs work. For new players that have never played Minecraft or Minecraft Dungeons or really anything like that, anybody new, they can kind of go in and kind of see how what the mobs are like, before just having to jump in and just see and kind of get screwed over. This gives them an opportunity to check out what every mob does and how tough it can be, and, like, what its attacks are and its specials are, and, like, because there's obviously like the one where it summons like the weird creeper pillars, and then the one that explodes. Like,
yeah,
for a new player like me, I had never seen that before. And to see that, and then I was like, what is that? Because when the first thing that popped up, that blew up, I didn't know what it was. So I went over to it, attacking it like, what do I do with this? I got killed immediately because I didn't know what it was or what it did. So like if I had like some sort of like go through or walkthrough on what it does, like what its abilities are, to fight it, when it comes time to actually fight it, I kind of know more and how to kind of avoid it and avoid dying more often.
Yeah. And I think that's one important thing, because you got off on a little bit of a rant there, but I think the important thing to take away is also, like, honestly, it's a dungeon crawler. And so there's one that you can't stop it from comparing from. I think if it had a League of Legends multiplayer PvP aspect, I think that it would be a bit more successful, honestly. Because it has a more basic PvP setup than, like, League of Legends does. But I think that honestly just raises the floor a little bit because it's not as complicated to get started, and then it raises the ceiling or it lowers the ceiling a little bit because it's much easier to get good at the game. And so I think it's a much more tight competitive game in that aspect. And so honestly, I think that's what they kind of missed out on and they should implement eventually. Is I think the system that you were suggesting was pretty good because it was interesting to be able to kind of like almost creative mode it and face mobs with a little bit of freedom so you can explore them and test out different weapons and stuff. But I think for the success of the game long term, having a League of Legends PvP area and maybe even becoming an esports game would be really amazing and really interesting. But that would bring up a question, because you do get special items from the DLCs. And so that does put up into question what they should do with the DLCs at that point, because maybe those items are stronger or weaker than the default items, and so those people might have a strategic advantage.
But at the same time, it's like you're not really. I think it's more of like a just like kind of like more of a just a fun kind of thing rather than like if you die you lose your stuff. But it's more like you can kind of like see how it reacts to like different armors or like how it works on players rather than because obviously it would work a little different on players than it would on mobs. So it's like
that too.
It gives it like that actual Minecraft like PvP kind of feel rather than like a I'm trying to think.
Which is kind of funny. Maybe they should take some notes from this for the next PvP update for Minecraft.
Yeah, send this directly to them.
Yeah, just send them Minecraft dungeons and be like, hey, use this as your example.
Yeah.
No, but I truly think, and I've always thought that, but I don't like to say it because I don't like for Minecraft to like be sellouts, quote unquote. But honestly, if they would have a League of Legends feature, I know that there would be a minor backlash, but I feel like the majority of people would just have fun with it and either fight their friends or actually compete semi-professionally. And then I think that even an esport might come out of it if it really catches a lot of wind.
Yeah. And I'm sure, like, if they really wanted to, like, if you, like, because obviously, like, the different, like, weapon level and, like, armor level, like you kind of mentioned, with that, they could also make, like, different arenas where,
it's like all level 50, all level 20.
Yeah, like, if it's, like, a specific level, you can only enter, if, like, you're wearing that armor, you can enter that level, but you can't have anything over or under it. So it kind of gives it a little more... It gives it a little more fairness into fighting, so you're not fighting someone that has armor that gives them like 2,000 health, and your armor gives you like 300. So it gives it a little more fairness to the game.
Yeah, and I was about to say there's also like most games have something like that where, you know, if you're a level 1 player, you can fight in level 50 arenas, and all it does is no matter what level your items are, as soon as you enter the arena or you fight in that bracket, all your items, no matter how high or low they are, get defaulted to level 50. because I know COD has some stuff like that. Like you can do the free mode on COD where you can just attach any attachment even if you haven't unlocked it before.
I think that's in like custom game stuff though.
Yeah, and so that would be kind of the aesthetic though. It's like you would just get level 50 standard, level 60 standard, whatever arena you were in, and no matter what your items were, you would unlock whatever would be unlocked to level 60 for that item, and you would get to use it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. I think that's really, I think that's some creative stuff for them. And honestly, Minecraft Dungeons is almost there. It's in a similar vein to No Man's Sky. I think it's on a little bit of a worse leg, but overall, it's still just a really awesome game that's just almost there. And they honestly just need to put in a little bit more of elbow grease.
I think the one thing we also have to remember is Minecraft Dungeons hasn't even been out for a full year, so there's still a lot of room for expansion with this game.
Yeah, maybe year one update, they just blow our minds.
Yeah. I'm thinking, like, there's another... I think this is probably the last kind of thought. I just randomly popped into my head as I was thinking, or as I was talking. And another thing is, there's obviously your main island kind of area that you spawn before you, like, where you select quests.
Yeah.
They have kind of a default layout. Obviously, like, you can select your character skin, but you have a vast selection for right now. I'm sure they'll probably add more later on. But that island that you spawn on, I'm wondering if they can add an update where, like, you could kind of custom build, like, after you complete certain levels, you get certain freedom. So, like, after, say you beat the first, like, you start up new and you beat the first level, you have certain freedoms that you could build up. Like, you could start build construction on like structures to put around your island to make it a little more customizable towards your standards, because it's the same for everyone unlocks the same stuff. But I think if you could take and kind of customize it and, like, build up towers or houses or, like, some sort of building structures on your base, on, like, your spawn island, to make it a little more customizable to, like, how you want things to look, it gives you a little more freedom of the viewing style, and, like, you could maybe have, like, trophies, like, a little more freedom into making it look the way you want. Because obviously you get freedom in a tiny bit of freedom in your character customization and, like, the armor and stuff you wear.
Oh yeah.
But you don't really have very much freedom towards the actual base. It's the base island itself. So I think being able to customize that a bit would be nice. Like, you could probably change, like, maybe after beating the first level you get maybe you could start off by building a small structure, or maybe, like, changing, like, the weather. Like, maybe you could have it where it's snowing and there's snow on the ground, or it's raining, or it's thunderstorming. So it gives it a little more, you get more freedom to it. So, like, you can change the weather or, like, the time of day. Like, you can kind of choose a bit with, like, how you want things to be.
Yeah, I think that would be useful. I think that you have some good little snippets there that definitely could be used. And I think that overall that would help Minecraft Dungeons a lot, because, like I said, it's just almost there. Just lots of little things would make it just go right over the edge and become a game of the year. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just, like, right on the edge, and I think that just a little bit more love would do it.
And, you know, obviously, like, as we said before, like, the game is still really young, so there's still a lot to come out. I'm sure there's still
and honestly, it's not that bad.
Oh no, for what has come out and what's been out in the last 9 months? 8 months? 8 months? 7
Yeah,
months.
8 months. Well,
it came out in May, right?
Yes.
So it would be 8 months next month that are upcoming. So in the last 8 months, well, they've already released, what, 3 DLCs?
Yeah.
So they are on the right track, and I'm sure they're gonna add more biomes to go through and kind of explore. They're probably gonna add another dimension. So I'm sure there's still a lot to be going with this game. So they, if they can kind of work on some of that stuff, they're bound to hit on the right direction. And this game could, honestly, it could possibly pass Minecraft itself, if it really pushes in the right direction.
Yeah. Oh yeah. 100%. But I think that is all for this episode, huh?
I would think so, yeah. I think, so we were going to keep this a little short, but we ended up ranting a bit because we kind of ran into having a few extra ideas of ourselves. So this section was a little, I say a little long, we were planning for like a 15-minute section. We extended by like half an hour. So again, I know I said this, I think I said this at the beginning, I honestly can't remember. We apologize for being late with this episode as well. We're going to try and get back on schedule. We've been running behind on a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff has been happening in the last like week and a half, 2 weeks. But we are working on getting back on schedule. I think
I wrote it down in my calendar.
Yeah. I know Bryce and I have some video and streams coming out. I'm gonna have to talk with you a bit more, possibly tomorrow. Working on getting some more people on so we can do some more like videos and stuff.
Oh yeah.
But otherwise, I know we have more streams coming out on No Man's Sky. I know Bryce will be streaming Wasteland 3, and I will join him for that. I'm sure we'll probably have some more Minecraft, Call of Duty, like whatever streams possible, videos. Like,
oh yeah.
I know we both have a lot more stuff coming out. We obviously
100%.
have very strict schedules with, we have to record our podcasts every week. Bryce has school, I have work, so we are on very strict schedules when it comes to some days. So I thank you all for bearing with us. Obviously this being like a week late, it's on. I thank you all for supporting us. And
well, it's like sketchy week late.
It's close to a week late, so we are behind, but we are working on getting back on schedule. But honestly, I know from Bryce and I, we thank you guys so much for your support and sticking by us. Make sure you guys are spreading our podcast around, our YouTube, Instagram, everything. Help us grow so we can make, so we have more to talk about. Maybe we can expand, or like you guys can leave us game ideas for games we can try out, or have like stuff to talk about for future podcast episodes. But we thank you guys so much for joining us on another week of the Weekly Gaming on Xbox.
And until next time, we will see you later. Have an amazing day, and have a good weekend. Bye!
Bye!